What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of True Ballers FC, ladies and gentlemen. This week, man, we had a lot of beautiful games this week, man. Outside in the Premier League, outside in La Liga, man. We're gonna get into all of that. Obviously, the rest of the panel are not here yet, but they'll be here very, very soon. But listen, man. Big up to my guy Jess. He actually was supposed to make his debut last week, but he wasn't feeling too good, so he decided to make it on today, man. Big up to my guy Jess, man. How you doing, bro?
I then, nah, man, big up, man. Obviously, yeah, like I mentioned, definitely tried to make it this week since I couldn't make it last week. Here I am, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big up, man. Big up every single time. But listen, man, make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications, guys. But yeah, man, listen, man. This weekend, I'm not gonna lie to you, Jess. Like this weekend's games have been crazy, bro. I think on the Saturday games, we didn't really have any big games on Saturday in the Premier League, but obviously the big one in the Premier League on the Saturday games was obviously El Classico. Did you watch the El Classico?
Yeah, I watched the Classico, yeah, on 490.
What did you think of the performance, bro?
So interesting because obviously I gotta go and try to digest it and from my point of view, but the game. So I kind of like obviously going into the game, I predicted 2-1 Madrid going into the game. If I'm being honest, because I felt like even though I rate what Barcelona has been doing this season, from a defensive standpoint, you saw Bayern not being able to capitalize midweek from the high line that Flick was playing, and to be honest, there were even opportunities where they took advantage, but then maybe they were offside or goal didn't count it. So I felt like Madrid going into this game, who when you have as fast as guys as Winnie and Mbappe, you would have thought they would at least go and actually at least have a good game. Not saying they're gonna go and have not gonna go and say they would have scored hat tricks or stuff like that, so unrealistic. But at least have a good game. But then we saw the complete opposites. Winnie got locked up, and Mbappe didn't know the offside rule for the whole game. And every time when Madrid was on onside and they were in on goal, the Barcelona defenders cleared the ball every time. Like Kobasi clear on the ball, Martinez clear on the ball, Inaki Penna, just the goalkeeper, right? Yes. He was really good with his sweeping as well because he was quite out the bit. Like Flick has him quite a lot outside his goal. So even sometimes when you ask yourself, where's the other centre back? Inaki is literally right there, being able to sweep immediately, and whenever it's about clearing the ball or pass it to one of his teammates. So, that was pretty much the first half. Like, I thought Barcelona was poor in the first half, not because necessarily letting the opportunities go bypassed by Madrid, more so because I felt like for going forward wise, I thought Lewandowski was not getting involved. Yamal was definitely not involved in the first half. The ball didn't see a lot of him. I thought Fermin, I felt wasteful at times. Rafinha, wasteful at times. I felt like really I feel like the players who really stood out for me for Barcelona, for example, in the first half were Pedri and Balde. To be fair, I felt Balde had a good impact throughout the whole game. So I would even say Balde in the first half, but more so Pedri. I think is it Cardoso or is it
Casado.
Casado had a good game as well. But when it comes to standing out, I felt Balde and Pedri stood out for me for Barcelona. So we go into the second half. Madrid you would think Madrid would Ancelotti would go raging at them. Yo, you gotta stay on side and all that. They just didn't look like they knew what Ancelotti. It was like he was speaking Italian to the whole dressing, because when they came out, the whole team didn't look up to it, and then when the defensive line is just not even in sync. Like first half for Madrid, the defensive line was actually doing well, and everything unorganized. Vasquez is all the positions, Mendy is all the positions, Rudiger all the positions. Everybody is just not. It's just a total mess. And then this is also when you get Lewandowski involved, is when you start Rafinha making more and more clever decisions. You see Rafinha making the runs off the ball. Yamal is getting more touches on the ball, so you saw Yamal ended up getting the goal. Like when you have a player like that, you want him to be on the ball to be able, because like Yamal is not gonna go and affect the game if he doesn't get the ball. It's as simple as that.
Facts.
So
Facts.
I felt Madrid should. Part of me do think the game could have been totally different if the players actually stepped up for Madrid in the first half. But hey, that's the football because we always say when you have the momentum and you don't take advantage, it will always come back and punish you. And Barcelona did so, and then you just run away with a goal after another goal. Do you think it should have been more? It should have been more because Lewandowski missed two sitters as well on a hat trick. He was on a hat trick and he missed two sitters. So yeah, like
Bro,
that's my thoughts. That was my thoughts on the Barcelona game, to be honest.
bro, I'm gonna be very real, right? I I was I was semi confident because I thought that, with Madrid, they give away too many chances and that we would take advantage because we've been taking advantage of the little chances that we get. That's why we've actually have a high scoring. That's why we've been so scoring so many goals this season so far because we're not wasteful in front of goal, right? And against Madrid, I said if we play against them and they give us those chances, they're going to pay for it. But my biggest problem was what are we going to do when we do get attacked? Because the high line we're playing is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely, it's an absolute joke. And I sat there and I was saying this on my stream, right? And I was saying, at the end of the day, man, from the earliest chance that they got, Mbappe had, he was obviously offside. But that worried me. But I'm gonna be very honest, man. Like Madrid were just shit, bro. They were just shit. They
Mm.
were just absolutely awful, bro. Like that attack. I cannot. I'm like, bro, the footballing IQ that you have to have, right? To always be landing offside every single time for 8 times. 8 times, bro. He was caught offside 8 times. I said, bro, at the end of the day, man, there's no excuse for something like that. I'm sorry, but there's not. You
Yeah.
should be, you should learn how to like you don't have to be that close. Like that is my point. I'm like, why are you behind the defender knowing that you are one of the paciest footballers in the world? Like you can literally go behind the defender and still be able to catch him. You don't have
Yeah.
to be behind the defender the way you are. But at the end of the day, he did what he did, and they ended up and they ended up suffering for it. And at the end of the day, as a Barcelona fan, listen, I'm I'm not complaining, bro. I'm happy, bro. At the end of the day, good job, Killian. But I'm gonna be real. That could have been so much more. We could have scored 6, bro. And I'm not joking, because Lewandowski hit the crossbar. He had 2 sitters, man. He was
Yeah.
absolutely we're absolutely 10 out of 10. We did our job and Madrid didn't. And listen, this is for me, it was a job well done, man. I could not believe what I was seeing. I mean, a part of me was still, it shouldn't have surprised me because I think that we did play well. But at the end of the day, man, it's absolutely ridiculous just how bad they were, really.
No, I agree. And I mentioned this in one of the group chats I'm in. That I think the biggest mistake that Carlo did is that because he played that 4-4-2, but he played that 4-4-2, and the whole midfield, the left mid, right mid, and the two midfielders, all midfielders. I feel like this was the type of game, considering
Mhm.
like you see Casado,
Yeah.
you see him through the academy. Yamal come through the academy. Lamine come through the academy. And I'm not saying they needed to come and bring up an academy kid all of a sudden as well, but you have other Golunda, and you can't even make the excuse anymore that it's his first season. It's the second season now. Like not being able to start in a Classico should not be an excuse in my opinion. Like there shouldn't be even an excuse why he couldn't even start versus Celtic. I think he didn't even play versus Celtic Vigo. He didn't play
Oh.
versus Dortmund. 100% he didn't. So for me, and this is where I feel like Carlo, you have to go and trust your players. Like I was saying when I was watching the game, I was saying like bring on Bobby Charlton, no Charles Entry, no bring on because clearly it wasn't working, but it was Carlos' refusal to make a change. It
Facts.
was, and when he made the changes, they didn't do anything. Didn't do anything, and it comes from having Jude playing like the right midfielder. It comes from Camavinga being like the left midfielder. Like
Hmm.
it's just so you were they were pretty much like but Madrid was so reliant on the counter attack and
Hmm.
hoping that the guys get it right at least one time. Where I feel like yes, the game plan works because of how high the Barcelona highline is,
Mm-hmm.
But but at the same time, I was thinking this will be the only way for Madrid to be able to approach the game if you want to go that approach. And to be fair, the approach wasn't necessarily wrong, but you
Mm-hmm.
saw the approach wasn't working because the players couldn't stay on side. Mbappe couldn't stay on side. You saw even Camavinga, like we're talking about Mbappe getting caught offside 8 times. Like Vinny got caught offside at times,
Mm.
Camavinga got caught offside at times. So it wasn't even just Mbappe. So you saw everybody nearly on the pitch getting caught offside. And so the game plan from a theory standpoint should work, but it wasn't working. And I felt like this is how Madrid maybe should have approached the game differently. Maybe have somebody more creative through the middle. Maybe take one of the go away from the 4-4-2 and go with a 4-3-3, and maybe go having Goulart out there who can be like a 10 creative for the attack. But then again, no, you didn't have obviously Rodrigo was out, and you didn't have no wingers on the bench. And I think maybe this way could have made the argument.
Mm-hmm.
People, I saw Madrid fans say maybe we should have brought Hoselu back for one more season, and that's the irony about it. Because not saying that Hoselu would have made the difference in the game, but on Florida's channel of Sarcasm City, we always talk
Mm.
about profiles. We always talk about we're not talking about names. We talk about profiles. And
Mm.
when if you would have known that okay, Hoslu's on the bench, let's bring Hoselu in. We can cross the ball now, and we can. It doesn't have to be just kick a long ball and run in behind. No, you can actually go and maybe we can try to press the ball in the right areas and trying to put balls into the box instead of trying to kick instead of trying to find through balls or long balls into the guys who are running in behind. So just something different because again, I didn't see what Mitchell was trying to do outside, trying to get in behind for the of the high line. So it's it just wasn't good for Madrid. I don't think nobody had a good game for them. Nobody.
But you know what it is? I'll say this, Jess. The thing is, I don't necessarily blame Ancelotti for playing the 4-4-2 because I see what he was trying to do. You understand what I'm saying,
Mhm.
right? He was like, all
Yeah,
right, these guys play a high line. I have two pacey strikers. Bellingham can play behind, and we know that he can score goals. And even though he hasn't scored a goal this season so far, right? I can see what Ancelotti was going for, but I can't. That's why for me, I can't really blame him. I obviously he has to take blame. Don't get it twisted. However, I'm not gonna exactly put all the blame on him. I think that the players. I'm sorry, it's not his fault that Kylian Mbappe can't stay on side. You understand what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's not his fault that Vinicius had the game he had. It's not his fault that players like Bellingham didn't turn up. At the end of the day, these players have been playing like this since the beginning of the season. Bellingham has not had a
Mm,
good season so far. I know he's had his injuries here and there, but he hasn't really had done anything this season so far. You understand what I'm saying?
mm,
Right? He has
mm.
scored goals.
But I
Mm,
think this is what you could go to though, in my opinion, because I have spoken with Madrid fans before about this season in particularly, and I mentioned obviously Brian's obviously not here, but I mentioned this about Jude, how he the image that he had last season was because of the goals that he has scored, the amount. But I always mentioned when Madrid bought him, he was never that goal scoring midfielder to begin with, but it was the
right.
system that made him be able to perform and get all these goals. So my issue, like I don't think everything everything needs to be played on Carlo, for example. Yesterday, for example, I agree, but I
Mm-hmm.
felt like once you saw it wasn't gonna work because clearly players couldn't stay on side. Like the players take more blame, 100%. But for me, the way I look at it is that you could see that things wasn't working. I felt like a change was needed. And to be fair, he tried to change by bringing and taking off short many
Mm-hmm.
and trying to have Mudryk out there because you could tell that they needed because even he knew I need something through the middle. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like you should have doubled down by that, but take maybe one of the guys away from the 4-4-2 and trying to put Mudryk and Gullit out there because clearly it wasn't working. So it's a it's a it's a it's a it's a weird situation because I do agree. I even tweeted after the game. I think today, no, wait, well, sorry, yesterday. This was
Mm-hmm.
generally the first time where Madrid got actually punished for their bad play this season because they haven't been playing well. But this is, I think, it comes also down to a lot of things of the team just being unbalanced. I think you can see the absence of Cruz. You can
Mm-hmm.
see that because of Modric not starting every single game, how it affects the team. You can see how Mbappe playing as a striker affects the team from last season. So it's like Like, so Carlo's trying to figure out a new way where everything can actually work this season. So I think they will just have more time. They will. It's just the unfortunate truth of what it looks like. They will need more adjustment period as a whole team to be a whole new team this season. Even though yes, Drew played there last season. Yes, Vinny played there last season. Rodrigo played there last season. But because of small changes can make such a big difference. And the changes that they've made this season impacted them this season.
Yeah, man. Listen, big up to the people who are in here. Make sure you guys smash the likes. Big up to Hano. It says big up to Charles and Visca Basa. Yeah, big up to you, man. It says French Timo Werner needs to be banned. Yeah, man. Everyone is calling him the French Timo Werner, man. He's the prime 2021 Timo Werner. It's absolutely crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, right? It I can see why people are trolling him because it's one thing getting um how do I put it, Jess? It's one thing getting caught offside once or twice, dude. You're telling me you haven't learned? You could not learn the first 3, 4, 5 times you've been caught offside? Like, bro, it's like there is some things I'm just like, bro, you are so quick. You don't literally have to be near the defender. You can
Mhm.
literally tell the striker, the midfielder, yo, put it in that area. I will go after it, and the player will put it there because they know you can get to it, right?
Yeah.
But you decide to do what you do, and then you're surprised that it didn't work out. It's absolutely insane to me, right?
Mhm.
Real Madrid were absolutely shocking, bro. I'm gonna be very real. This is why, like I said, I have to point the finger at what's his name, um,
Mbappe.
Mbappe and
Mhm.
Vinicius and all these players, because at the end of the day, the tactic should have worked, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the day, Kylian Mbappe should be wise enough. You've been playing football. You're not a youngster anymore, man. You're like 25,
Mhm.
26. You've been playing. You have had experience of playing football for such a long time. Shouldn't you have learned that, okay, these guys are playing a high line. I'm already faster than these defenders. We have a player in Inigo Martinez who is literally like what? He's like 33, 34. Bro, you can literally give this guy like a mile head start and you can still catch up to him, right? But you decide, no, I'm gonna stay in there, and then you get caught offside for 8 times. And the crazy thing is, did you guys see that the moments he was being caught offside, right? All those moments that
Yeah.
he went 1-on-1, he literally scored one of those. The first
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that the first one he had was in the first minute, bro. He literally had the whole net and he put it in literally the closest side, the side netting. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, these are not things that you can blame Carlo for. And
Yeah.
also Vinicius. I know I've been cooking Mbappe this whole time, but Vinicius's performance needs to be looked at, bro. He spent more time fighting with the Barcelona players than actually trying to do anything. With Mbappe, at least I can say this guy was trying to make runs. He was just not timing his runs. With Vinicius, he was arguably worse than Kylian Mbappe in the game, right? And it's things like that, and I look at and I say, at the end of the day, this is the things I've been warning people. Like, I'll be honest with you, big up to Sam, big up to Dave, because they are Madrid fans who've been calling this out from the beginning of the season. And if you're someone who's been watching Madrid this season and you're not biased, you will admit, bro, this Madrid team have been like this since the beginning of the season, right? They've been giving away chances, but the problem is the teams they've been playing are so wasteful that they've just managed to get away with it every single time. I will never forget, bro, against Real Sociedad, away to Real Sociedad, bro. Real Sociedad hit the crossbar 3 times in that game. That team is currently, I think, 13th in the league right now in La Liga, right? But that team ended up ended up hitting the crossbar 3 times, and Madrid scored 2 penalties and they won the game. And I said, bro, I dare you to give us these chances and see what we will do to you guys. And that's what happened, bro. Literally the whole first half, if you watched it, I know you guys watched Classico, the first half, the whole time, Mike's Jess, we literally had the ball and Madrid were pushing our highline and not succeeding. And we didn't get a lot of chances until like the first 30 minutes when we started getting chances right before the end of the first half. Second half starts. We then scored the first goal in like the first 10 minutes of the second half. And you could literally see the switch. Literally, bro. We
Yeah.
didn't. I wasn't like, bro. If you go back and watch my stream, I wasn't finished celebrating the first goal before we scored the second goal. I was like, bro, their heads were gone. Their heads literally went after that first goal. They were disorganized, and Lewandowski could have scored 4 yesterday. It was absolutely ridiculous. But what did you think of the game, Mike? And big up to Mike's, man, for making it. I didn't actually introduce you.
Big up, bro.
Big up, bro. Big up, bro, for you. Yeah, I enjoyed the game yesterday. I thought you pretty much got it spot on. Like with the first half, like obviously Madrid had not even just maybe not more of the ball, but more of the chances. But all the chances were offside because Mbappe just doesn't know the offside rule, even though he can score a hat trick in the World Cup for whatever reason. Like what I don't get about Mbappe and just Real Madrid in general, when we're talking about sometimes, okay, some of these players are going to get in each other's way positionally, like Mbappe and Vinicius, and people are like, "Oh, what are you talking about? That's going to work clearly." But sometimes when, like for example, Mbappe or Vinicius on the right, they're not as effective. So they kind of both want the same space anyway. But when they were like had the ball, for example, like I thought Camavinga was on it, like he usually is when I watch him. I don't watch La Liga like week in week out. I just watch Real Madrid when I can watch them, and Camavinga's usually on it when I watch them. But the problem is like, yeah, cool. People are like, oh, Barcelona playing a dangerous game here. Well, they're not really playing a dangerous game if Real Madrid aren't figuring out the offside rule. There's only so many times where you can be like, okay, you're going to get chances here, and you're actually going to stay onside, and you're going to keep getting offside, and the ball keeps getting turned over to the other team, and it's only a certain amount of time where the other team won't capitalize upon it, and that's what Barcelona did. Barcelona literally were like, in probably at half time, like, okay, we know how they're going to play, we know what formation they're going to do, we know how they're going to try and get through us. Let's just regroup. We know how to figure that out. Let's just be on it now. Let's just do what we need to do. Because I was thinking, I wasn't really seeing Barca in the first 30 minutes. I was like, and then back into the second half, it was like, okay, you're kind of seeing them grow into the game a bit. But to lose 4-0 at your own ground, especially as Real Madrid, against your biggest rivals, is ridiculous. Like, I don't understand like the approach to the game in general. Also, the right side of the midfield, the right side of the diamond in midfield, it felt like everyone was getting in the way of each other. Bellingham and Valverde and all these players, but no one was being effective there. No one was being effective down that right-hand side. It felt like both sides of the formation were lopsided. Like neither side they were being effective. Whereas with Barcelona, they look like an actual team. Whereas they may not have as many big names in terms of like the superstar names. They look like a genuine team. They look like a team that knows what they're doing and also well coached as well. And once you guys found the first goal, you guys were on it. Real Madrid didn't even touch their levels. Like you can have Mbappe and all this, but they didn't like Yamal is fucking ridiculous, bro. Like this guy, how do you like your weak foot? That's his weak foot, and you shoot into the roof of the net against Lunin, like who was on form keeper last season. I know he didn't have a good game yesterday, but in the roof of the net, that's ridiculous. Like the guy who did the Ronaldo celebration, the guy doesn't care, bro. The guy doesn't care. The guy has the mentality of an experienced player, and he's 17. The guy's ridiculous, bro. And Barcelona just won it for the whole game.
Bro, you know what's crazy, right? Anyone who's been watching us this season will tell you this. When we go forward, that's what I love about my team, right? Our biggest weakness is that we give away too many chances. However, bro, you've seen it because I'm like, bro, you watched us against Bayern Munich, right? You saw against Bayern how we scored literally in the first few seconds of the game. First chance we scored, right?
Yeah.
And you saw how every time we were going forward, we looked like scoring. Why would you be so like? This is the thing. I think that yesterday, because I've been saying this, and listen, like I said, there's a lot of Madrid fans who are on YouTube who've been calling this out. But I think yesterday was the first time everyone else began to realize, oh, wait a minute, this Madrid team is actually not as good as we thought they've been. Because everyone who I've been talking to, all the Madrid fans who I've been talking to, have been critical of the season so far. They've been saying, yeah, we're winning, we're undefeated in the league, but bro, we have not been tested. And when we get that big game where we're going to get tested, we're going to get dominated. And people were like, no, but Madrid, they're doing well. You don't understand. It's the Madrid mentality and all of these stuff. I said this when I was on the heavyweight show with Zier. I said, bro, this is the thing. This Madrid team, if you want to beat them, bro, you can't give them a chance to breathe. When you score one, you better go for that second. When you get that second, you better go for that third. When you get that third, you better get that fourth. Bro, you need to kill them, bro. You need to completely finish them off. You see that when they play Dortmund, right? And just was watching the game.
I talked about it.
Yeah, I was remember we were on the show. I was literally in the comments saying this. I was like, bro, you know when they were 2-0 up, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was celebrating. I sat there. I was like, yo, until Dortmund get that third, I am not celebrating anything. Because I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
all it takes is for this team to score one, and then literally it's GG's, right?
Yeah.
It's GG's.
And,
And you
and
saw,
that's a big thing. And that's the big thing because obviously when watching the game, I said this obviously to Flawless during literally the watch along. I said the game was going to turn into Madrid's favor when Shahi made the substitution for taking Gittins out for Anton, because I knew you give at this point you pretty much initiating that Madrid, you can have the ball. We're just gonna go and sit back in our own box and you can attack us. That's the worst thing you can do. Not no attempt to try to go and hurt, because it wasn't the counter, because the issue wasn't the counter attack. Shine was just scared to go and because he saw momentum was going for Madrid. He saw it was coming, but he was scared, and I think there's a huge difference. Hansi Flick just stick by what he wanted to do this
bro,
weekend, and it paid off. And again, like you mentioned, when you got the first goal, it wasn't a thing of okay, let's then go and settle ourselves down a little bit, go back and make sure we stay defensively solid because we want to win the derby. Now he said, now we're gonna have to continue, put two on them, put the third goal, and usually with the third goal you would sit here and say, okay, that should be then out of reach. But then at this point, I think not saying I don't think petty is the right word, but at this point, when it got to 3 goals, it felt like you wanted to embarrass them. Like it was
bro,
this is what it was then.
we were wasteful. We were trying to put like 5, 6 past this lot. This is my point. And that's the thing with Madrid. I keep telling people, I'm like, bro, when it comes to Madrid, you don't sit back. I don't care if you're 2-0 up. Especially if there's like so much more time to go. I was literally saying that when we were 2-0 up and Lewandowski was missing those sitters. I was like, bro, if they score one, all they need is just one, and then they're back in the game. I don't need this in my life, man. Let's come on, get up and let's perform. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, this is what was getting to me. I was like, bro, please get that third. I don't feel safe. 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline, especially when you're
Yep.
playing Madrid. You understand what
Mm.
I'm saying? All they need is one, and they will smell blood. They'll be like, "Hey, we're back." And you saw that third goal. Once that third goal went in, these guys were they raised the white flag. They weren't
Yeah.
trying to even go forward anymore. You could see it, bro, because they were like, "Yeah, listen, we just don't want to get embarrassed." And you saw that's why we actually went for that fourth. And bro, you saw how, bro. You know what's crazy, right? I've been hearing this from a lot of Madrid fans who I've been talking to, telling me, Omar, our defense is old. Our defense needs improvement and all of these stuff. Bro, is it? I'm not gonna lie. These guys' defense, people don't talk about their defense enough because they always get away with this. But even against Dortmund, their defense was awful. That's why Dortmund we went ahead so early. You understand what I'm saying?
They've been complaining about Mendy for time. They've been
And
complaining about
Vasquez,
Mendy for a long
especially,
time.
Vasquez is the one that I know from the beginning. I was doing my preview. Everyone who I've been talking, they've been telling me, "Omar, that is Vasquez guy. I'm worried about again when Rafinha gets his hands on Vasquez." And Vasquez was one of the worst, bro. He literally was the one that kept Lewandowski on side for that first goal. Him and
Yeah, he's done.
Mendy.
Yeah, he's done.
I'm just like, bro, this is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, listen, big up to Prime, man. What Prime? Did you watch the Classico? What did you think? Is Prime here? I don't think. Yeah,
Sorry,
I was talking to you, Prime. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just asking you, what were your thoughts on the El Clasico?
Ancelotti outclassed.
Yeah.
Listen, the past 3 years Ancelotti's been at Real Madrid. I know people have praised them for how great their attacking play is and the comebacks and everything. But I said it with that first Champions League they won. Fugazi. All those comebacks, everyone wanted to say heritage.
Mm.
Listen, it's Fugazi. It's Fugazi. We outclassed them at the Bernabeu, and they still managed to snag it against us. Fugazi. Ancelotti, I think he's trying his best, but this squad, there's such an imbalance. They don't really have a striker. Bellingham's not working when he doesn't score goals. And Mbappe has been a massive flop. They don't have a right winger. They've got injuries in their defense. I don't know. I think as much as you have to call Ancelotti maybe a bit of slack, it's still Real Madrid, and you have to eventually go and find a way. Should he get sacked for it? I mean, it's Real Madrid, so probably. But the thing is, who do you go and replace him with? Flick, I think he set up brilliantly. Playing that high line and using that offside trap, like you don't catch out the likes of Mbappe as much as they did without having a plan in place. I think it's brilliant. And also, you know, Barca having all those kids out on the pitch, it shows that you can actually play well with kids. You know, regardless of what Pochettino was saying last season with Chelsea. So,
and you know what's crazy as well?
Can I say something quick about the Ancelotti situation with people obviously asking him to suck? I actually ironically had the conversation just last night, during like nighttime. I don't think they're gonna suck him personally because I feel like it would need to get that bad where like you can look at and say, okay, they're outside the top four, they're out of the cup, they're out from the Champions League early. Then maybe, but I feel like they're gonna give him till like May probably because I still expect Madrid to be in the latter stages of the Champions League. I still expect them to be at least second in the league around. I don't know how they're going to be in the cup. Like, I just don't see it happening to the point where they're going to go and sack him and go and get an interim or something. I think they're going to give him to the end of the season, but I do think at the end of the season they should part ways. Though this is what I do believe.
You know what? I completely hear that. Completely. I'll say this right before we do go. I agree with you. I don't think it makes sense to get rid of Ancelotti now. I think they should give Ancelotti to the end of the season, and then maybe they might agree a deal with Xabi Alonso, and maybe he might be their manager next season, right? That would be the thing that would make sense, right? Because even though yes, the performances have not been great. To be fair, this is their first loss of the season in the league, right? In the Champions League, they've only lost one game, so it's not as bad as maybe some people think it is. Obviously, Madrid fans' standards is different, right? They don't just think about the result. It's also the performances that they also judge. And losing to your biggest apps, like losing to Madrid, to Barcelona, like you do, bro. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I saw this with what's his name, Benitez, when he lost 4-0 at the Bernabeu. He got sacked, like I think a game or 2 games after that. And it's funny because Ancelotti, funny enough. What's crazy is Ancelotti, since his return, has actually lost 4-0 at the Bernabeu twice to Barcelona. He lost against Xavi, where that was Aubameyang when he scored Aubameyang's brace, right? They lost 4-0 to us that same year, and they lost yesterday as well. So that's not a good record to hold if you're someone like Ancelotti, right?
Do you want to know a fun fact, by the way, as well? Ancelotti, the great Ancelotti, supposed to be a GOAT. You know, up there with Pep and Mourinho and Fergie and them, man. Not Wenger, he's a fraud. Ancelotti's never retained a trophy in his career. He's not retained the Champions League, which is almost impossible to do. He's not retained a league title. He's not retained a trophy.
Wow, that is crazy. I
didn't even know. He still is one of the goals, though. Yes.
Oh no, I didn't say he's not.
All right, fair enough.
No,
but I'm not gonna lie. That's actually genuinely insane. I did not.
No, but that's the thing. Like I always say this. Like I think when it comes to play, like, they got even to the creative players. Like every manager and every player has a black mark in their career, regardless of how great they've been. Like you can talk about, you can go from all the way from Messi to the most random player. Everybody has some sort of black mark in their career.
I just mention it because this season they won't win the Champions League just based off of that alone, and it looks like the league they're not going to win. So, what's gonna happen? I will say this.
I just think they're gonna give them to the end of the season. Personally,
Real Madrid over the last 3 seasons have started off the campaign very slowly. They started off last season slow. They started off their first Champions League when Ancelotti came back slow as well. Even their three-peat with Zidane. They started off all 3 seasons very slowly. So I wouldn't necessarily go completely overboard because they can turn this around and second half of the season go on a complete tear and end up winning La Liga. So
but I'll say this, right? Because it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that because did you see what he actually said? He actually said The last time I lost 4-0 to Madrid, last time I lost 4-0 to Madrid, Barcelona, I went on to win the Champions League. Basically, that's the one thing I've heard Madrid fans kind of use as a consolation, which is that, oh yeah, bro, the last 2 times we lost 4-0 to Madrid, to Barcelona at the Bernabeu, we actually won the Champions League that season. So you guys never know what's going to happen. I'm just like, listen, all right, man, listen, whatever makes you sleep at night. But listen, I don't want to spend too much time, obviously, on this. We saw what happened yesterday. But listen, let's get into it, man. Obviously, yesterday there was not a lot of interesting games yesterday. But as far as today is concerned, today was where the best games were in the Premier League. So we'll just allude to the games yesterday, right? Obviously, City won 1-0 against Southampton. My opinion, and I'm going to say this very quickly. Manchester City won, but Manchester City. I'm going to keep this energy because I keep this energy when I talk about Arsenal. I'm going to keep the same energy when it comes to City. City are winning games, but it's not sustainable. You understand what I'm saying? They are. I feel like if they play against a team that is competent, like a Chelsea, like a Liverpool, you know what I mean? A club like that who can basically give them a challenge, I think they could be in trouble if Pep doesn't figure this out. You understand what I'm saying? And they need to figure it out, because yesterday, this is Southampton we're talking about. Southampton have been battered by literally everyone this season, right? And they literally, yeah.
To be fair though, City should have scored a lot of goals. Like Haaland should have definitely left the game and had to. You can argue. At least a bare minimum, a praise, bare minimum. But you're still right, because obviously, like, Southampton is not great, but they definitely should have had more goals than just one. Like, when you actually go and look at it.
Yeah, do you know what it is with City as well? They always start like, I haven't got Rodri now, but they always start like this. They always figure out when it's the back end of the season because of how much know-how they have at the business end. And also, I don't think Liverpool and Arsenal are at the level where they're actually in so much trouble. I know Liverpool are doing well right now, but I still don't think when I look at Liverpool that they're at the level to overtake this Man City team, despite even though Man City aren't the Man City that we know. That's how bad I think probably the standard of the Premier League is probably right now. But still, like, I don't think Man City are in that much trouble just because they always figure it out and they always seem to change it around. Like, Pep will find a way to tweak it. That's just what he does. Like, I feel like we always talk about this every year, probably at October, September time. But we're like, is Man City really at the standard right now? But once you get to January onwards, then you'll see like they're just too on it in the Premier League when it comes to the business end of the season. But yeah, all the thing is with the games yesterday as well. Like, the games weren't mad, but the games were mad at the same time. Like on paper, the fixtures weren't mad. Like, there's nothing to talk about. But at the same time, there was a lot to talk about because everyone scored in the last minute. Everyone scored in the last minute, like legit. Like, Bournemouth, Brentford. Like, everyone's
that was probably the best game on Saturday in the Premier League. Brentford game, what a game that was.
Yeah. It scored a cross at the end, bro. Like, I don't get it. Like, all the goals happened after the 90th minute. I think Wolves scored 2 after Brighton were 2-0 up.
That Brighton
struggling, bro.
Well, that Brighton one though, like, I'm sorry, having a 4-on-1 just to concede afterwards straight away is hilarious. I'm sorry, like, my head would have been in Bluetooth.
Oh, bro, I think if that was my club, I think I would have got my channel terminated easily, bro. If that was my team, I would have got my channel terminated easily. Because, like, how do you fuck that up? Like, you were 2-0 up, and then this Wolves side doesn't finish chances. They concede a lot of goals and they don't finish chances, bro. And Gary O'Neill hasn't won a game yet. He's under pressure. And he's still in interviews saying that they'll be fine and stuff like that. They're fucked. You can see 2 to them.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Good player.
I saw this game earlier. I'll just say a little bit in it, Brian. Today, I saw Inter Milan Juventus 4-4. What a crazy game that was. I actually watched it. Sick game. But yeah, so there was, you know what? I don't want to disrespect the Saturday games because I feel like there was not any games that was like big games, like the big boys.
Yeah, on paper, pretty much.
Saturday's games were incredible. The Brighton game, you just mentioned it, bro. They got come back in the last minute. They bottled it, absolutely bottled it, right? And we saw the same thing in this, bro. The Brentford game, I think it was an equalizer, and then literally Brentford went the other way and scored. It's literally like the Tottenham Liverpool one, basically.
Bro, Omar, you know, legit after they scored, Ipswich could have scored again. Liam Delap
Literally.
hit the post from outside the box, bro. He smacked it and it hit the post. I just finished watching the Villa game. I switched over to the Brentford game. As soon as I switch it over, and Boomer scores a cross. But I don't know what Muri's just doing, by the way. Like he's
that
terrible.
was shocking. That was shocking.
That is like bottom. That is like Sunday League level of like command in your box. And then instantly, as soon as it gets turned over, Liam Delap smacks it from outside the box and it hits the post. Liam Delap is on one. I didn't think he'd be up to the level of the Premier League, but he's had a great season so far, despite Ipswich not finding a win yet. And Ipswich were 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up. Like they've actually got players that can score goals. Funny enough, like Schmodix and Jack Clark will be able to step up once they get used to the Premier League. But their defense is just too lightweight, way too lightweight. And Brentford always find a way. They don't give up. They never ever give up. They always find a way, even without Tony. And Mbeumo's really stepped up since Tony left as well. And even when Tony wasn't playing last year, Mbeumo stepped up.
And Mbeumo has actually, bro, I'm not gonna lie, Mbeumo has been filling Tony's shoes so far. Like he's definitely been filling his shoes. But yeah, listen.
I've been telling people that he's the, like, for me, when everyone was hyping up Tony, I didn't see it. I've been saying I think Tony is like extremely overrated. Mbeumo was the real guy in that team, and he's showing it, man. He deserves to play for a top 16. Spurs spent big money on Solanke, and Mbeumo's still there. Arsenal need a backup to Saka, and Mbeumo's still there. Man United,
he can have the conversation.
I think when it comes
to the right winger, and Mbeumo is still there. The guy's a baller.
No, but I think Mbeumo. I think when it comes to Mbeumo, we're only starting to see him perform now, and this is not disrespectful. He did well last season, but I think people were basically trying to see if it's just like a one-season wonder. You understand what I'm saying? So I think
Joe was he did well off the Tony relationship, but I don't think people gave him enough credit because Ivan Tony was stealing all the limelight. But it was because they were playing as a two up front, and then Mbeumo was next to him. And he was actually providing a lot more than people were talking about. But when Tony left, or when Tony was banned last season, and Mbeumo became the main man, and he just grabbed games by the scruff of the neck, and he made every game his own.
I always saw Mbeumo as the guy in that partnership. Probably real.
See, but this is the thing. Mike's is more so talking about the majority of people, though. Like when you go and talk about, when you talk about people talk about Brentford over the last few seasons, it's always been about Tony most of the time, and people like. It's kind of like he's the Robin to the Batman, pretty much how people perceived it. But I mean, obviously people. I think Brian will remember the list. I don't think anybody else followed me on Twitter during the time. It was before the season starts, and I saw like a video idea, and I tweeted about that video idea, made a similar case from every single Premier League team, which player I would take for the this current Tottenham team. And ironically, Mbeumo was my player that I wanted. Like for me, he like obviously Brian, you said obviously that we bought Solanke when we could have bought Mbeumo. We needed both. I keep saying that like for me, one of the key things this summer was for me getting a striker in, but also get two proper strikers in. It's not two proper strikers. I mean one striker and two wingers. Because obviously at the time Werner was already in. Because if Werner wasn't in, I would have said three wingers. Because we wasn't desperate needs of wingers regardless. So that's what. And Bremen for me was always like this is where we said, you know what, this season we should have gone. Obviously we're gonna talk about Tottenham. Obviously now I can probably go into it more in detail that. But Now and Bremen was one of the, and I think he only had like a year or two left from next season going forward.
He's one of the best forwards because he can play up top. He can play in a 2. He can play in a front 3. He can play on the right. Like I was saying this to Steve last season when we were talking about Brentford, and we were talking about Tony, and I mentioned how good Mbeumo was, and I thought the guy was much older. I thought he was like late 20s, early 30s. The guy is
the hairline. Yeah,
the hairline.
I know the hairline. Someone mentioned on Twitter the reason why people don't rate Mbeumo is because of that hairline. If he had like dreads or if he looked like a baller, again, look at Tony. Tony's got the tattoos. Tony's got the beard. He's got a crisp hairline.
He's got the look.
If Mbeumo wants to leave, he needs to go Turkey. He needs to go Turkey.
I keep trying to say it, bro. We live in a world where Noni Madueke is higher rated than Mbeumo these days. And I'll tell you, bro, he's left-footed and he has left-footed, South London, and he has a headbutt on when he plays football. It's crazy, bro. And Mbeumo is hooping out there, like doing his work.
Bro,
crazy, honestly.
Bro, Madueke
Also-
is left-footed. He sags his shorts and he has dreads. Of course, people rate him, man. Let's be real.
Nah, bro.
Do you know what it is with Mbeumo as well? Like, even last season, Brentford had so many injuries to their fullback positions, so they weren't really getting much help from the width standpoint. So they were just playing Wissa and Mbeumo and kind of relying on makeshift people to play on the wing back positions. So they're putting so much reliance on Mbeumo. But guess what? He stepped up, and Brentford had a bad season last season. They weren't necessarily in a massive relegation battle, but they were just above those places. And the only one that was doing anything was Mbeumo, like apart from like Jensen and the most reliable players that they have already. And Mbeumo has been with them since the championship and has kept making a step up every season. Like, he should have got more credit last season as well, but people kept talking about how Tony was absent all the time, but nobody's talking about how good Mbeumo was, how Mbeumo was doing. Like, he always
I look at Newcastle. Newcastle won a Madueke. If they're smart, go get Mbeumo.
They're going. They're 100%.
Yeah. But listen, man, definitely Mbeumo is a great player. But listen, let's get into it. Obviously, on today's games, the first game that I'm going to get into is obviously Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspurs 0. Look, before I let you go, Jess, I didn't actually watch this game because I was watching the West Ham Manchester United game, and I did go back to watch the highlights, and from what I saw from the highlights, bro, Crystal Palace could have scored more. Like,
yep.
I'm not gonna lie. This is, bro.
You want me to explain it?
No, please do, because
right.
Yeah, please.
Nah, because there's the thing. Because the thing, obviously, like, it's obvious. I feel like narratives are easy to go and say that, like, Spurs can't defend and shit, and obviously we don't coach defending in that. Bro, if you watch the game today, everything, whatever how you rate Ange as a manager and what he can do as a manager, nothing worked. We couldn't attack. We couldn't build up from the back. We couldn't defend. We couldn't pass. We couldn't shoot. Like, it's like the football ability from everybody, from the best players' football ability to the worst football abilities, gone. Van der Ven can't pass the ball forward. Can't build up. Romero doesn't know how to pass the ball anymore. We can't. The only thing that we knew today was how to cross the football, and we had Solanke fighting 3 centre backs out there, so the crossing wasn't gonna work. We didn't know how to dribble with the ball, like nothing. Like, generally speaking, like, the only chance today was the Madison chance that I remember today. It's the Madison chance, but I do think he should have scored personally. But I'm not going to make that about if Madison scored that chance, it would have been 1-1. No, because the reason why I've been so more, not necessarily, because usually people think I'm like a negative kind of type of fan, which I am sometimes. But the reason why I haven't been so negative this season necessarily is because I personally believe we actually been playing well, but a lot of things didn't just go our way when it comes to from an attacking standpoint. Today, though, I can't even say that. I can't take no positives from, like, even Brighton. As far as Brighton went, I could have said, you know what, at least in the first half, you saw what you were seeing there. We should have probably even scored 3-4 goals against Brighton in the first half. Today, I can't take no positives on that, like, if I've been really honest. And again, this is where I tweeted after the game. This was an embarrassing result. You can't like, regardless of how you want to sugarcoat it, whether you like the manager or not, you can't give Crystal Palace the first game of the first win of the season. You can't do that. You can't do that. So for me, it's like nobody escapes criticism. Ange was trying to make substitutions, and when I saw those substitutions, like, I saw the options of the bench to begin with before the game even kicked off, and I wasn't positive about them necessarily. I'll go into the squad depth in a bit, but the substitutions I saw, this how bad it was. He took off Maddison, and he took off Kulusevski, because this how bad those two were in my eyes. Where he said we going old school's way, 4-4-2. You have Richarlison and Solanke up top, because we play against 3 centre backs. Richarlison and Solanke up top. Then he took off Moore for Werner, so that wasn't going to do anything. Who else came actually on? Because like I said, the game was pretty much all Palace. But one second, let me go check the subs again. And then yeah, Bentancur, there we go. Bentancur was just the very last late sub for Bissouma. I don't know why he didn't. This is probably the only sub where I said, why didn't you make this sub earlier? But then people kind of arguing, look at the subs, but these are the players on the bench after those subs. So you had Lucas Bergwijn on the bench, Dragusin, Ben Davies, RG Gray, and Foster. So really, you don't have a choice of options necessarily. These would have been the guys who come off the bench then, if you say so. So, and this is one of the big things why I said I don't understand necessarily, because one of my big things, because I had a lot of conversations with Brian before on here. Ironically, even last year, I had like backstage after the stream backstage, I had a rant about Tottenham fans because my question was, what is necessarily the expectation for the season? I'm not saying that Palace was definitely not excusable and everybody deserves to get slandered, but I feel like, because obviously you probably would have seen people tweeting Ange, he's a bum, he's this and that, and he definitely deserves like the criticism today. I'm not gonna take any criticisms away from him, but my thing was more so that what do people necessarily expect from this team? Because outside Sri Lanka, the team didn't get better in starting 11. So that's one of the biggest issues. Like, and I always mention about, obviously, just go into the window. I mentioned always about how, me personally, I'm a fan of the Sri Lanka side. Obviously, Brian disagrees. Other people might disagree. That's cool. But I'm a fan of the signing. I'm a fan of the signing of the RG Gray. I'm a fan of the signing of Bergwijn. I'm a fan of the signing of Udeva. I think all of these signings can actually contribute for us this season. But the issue is that we needed more. I kept speaking on about it. Since they brought in Werner in the start of the window, I said we have to bring in two wingers. We have to bring in a striker. We brought in the striker. We brought the striker too late. We brought only one winger, and we want to expect Udeva, the 19-year-old, to be the savior for the season. When I said, no, we have to go to Brentford. We have to go and get a Bremer, because I know with a Bremer, not only will a Bremer push Johnson to the bench, but it gives at least the bench some sort of depth. I don't necessarily rate Brennan Johnson, but Brennan Johnson off the bench, I'm not looking at him and say this is the most awful options out there. Especially when you bring it on Timo Werner. And I mean, shout out to Mikey Moore. I think he's a talented player, but again, it's this thing where people know asking for him to start game week in, week out. But then I'm sitting here saying, we can't do the hero. Why are we trying to put the hero tax on Mikey Moore, who's 17?
Yeah,
we can't. It shouldn't be that. So it's for me, like, there were a lot of concerns for me going into the seasons. Hence why my criticism towards maybe Ange, for people that maybe ask, because people keep asking me today, yo, Jez, are you Ange out? Are you Ange out? I keep saying, you will know if I'm Ange out, because people know me about my content era. If people know me about my content era, you would know that I'm a manager out. Like, you will know. So
you're not afraid to
I'm not afraid to call anybody. I called out Nuno his first 3 games where we were top of first 3 games. We go into international break, top of the table, and I said Nuno out.
Yeah, Jez, I remember. Didn't Nuno beat you guys? Beat Man City,
beat Ben City,
and you were screaming Nuno out. I remember that. Yeah.
Wow. I said Nuno. I thought, man, yo, get this guy out of here, because I knew where it was gonna go. So for me, I'm not afraid to criticize people when they need to be criticized. The reason why I'm not, maybe, like, today he gets criticism because I'm asking what the fuck happened in training. like the one thing that we actually good at, supposed to be good at, is attacking. We couldn't even create a half chance today. This is how bad it was. So for me, I'm asking, like, generally what happened in training, and this is where I need to look at the manager. I need to understand what was going on, because this is, you can't. It's a shameful result, and no look at the table. And one of the biggest issues that I had this season with all our losses is that maybe also at Arsenal, all our losses, it feels so self-inflicted, because even when you look at the Palace goal to begin with, like, playing out of the back, we should also be good at playing out of the back. Watch us play Man City midweek in the cup. No mistakes from playing out of the back. Watch us. But Palace, every time when we tried to play out of the back, they triggered the press. It worked. We had to go long. So for me, again, it was a terrible day. There is no positive that I can take out of it in my eyes. That's the one thing I do actually want to use your platform for. Actually, to mention
go
this
ahead.
is that
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I had a conversation about last season because a lot of conversation was about Hamming Son not being a suitable captain for the football club. Let me go into this, man. Our two worst games this season, Brighton. Our two worst games, Brighton and today against Palace. Hamming Son didn't play. And I heard no peep about Son's lead. I've not heard because I think Madison today was the captain. I'm pretty sure Madison was the captain today. No, tell a lie. It was Romero who was the captain. I got it wrong because I'm somebody who I do value the idea of what a captain can bring to a football team, but when I see obvious things wrong, when I see obvious things being wrong, I will mention those obvious things rather than focusing who the captain is. But the reason why I'm bringing up this captain thing now is because I'm gonna be a little bit petty because everybody always goes every time when we lose a game or every game we drop points, our fans wanna go and say one of the main reasons is because Son is not a good enough captain. And ironically, everybody wanted Romero to be the captain.
Romero.
Our two worst games, yes.
Mr.
And the
Headloss.
two worst games, our two worst games this season, Romero was our captain. Son wasn't even playing because he was out injured. And this is what I say, like, I hate how the fan base is disrespecting him, acting like he hasn't been a good servant to the football club. Like, it's like, have I had my rants about Son? Have I had my problems about Son? 100%. But people acting like he can't be a good captain because he doesn't show that people and because he's like perceived as the nice guy. I hate this narrative because ironically he's the one of the guy who I know he will actually try to make a difference today. I know for a fact. Nobody was trying to make a difference today. Romero was looking like a scrub out there today, and he was the captain. So I'm just asking, where is the energy for Romero, who y'all wanted captain? Y'all wanted him to be the captain. Where is the criticism for him not being the captain? But it's just something that I had to mention because I call out the hypocrites for the people that want to call out about Son about the captaincy, but don't want to call the other players about their captaincy, but they have it on actually. But yeah, I just had to mention it.
No, first of all, let me just say this, right? Isn't Son the captain of his country? So this guy is experienced. So he's technically a leader, right? Romero is not one of even the leaders in the Argentina squad. I don't care if he's a defender. This guy has never captained a day in his life. Why? Is it because he's a center back? He's just expected to be a natural leader. Like this guy.
Yeah, because they look at his personality. That's why a lot of people want him to, because he's like he can be aggressive. Because let's be honest, Son is probably one of the nicest players out there in the whole football world, not even the Premier League. So people look and our fan base think because he's soft, and they perceive him as soft, and people don't necessarily believe in our fan base that he can be the guy leading this team. But ironically, I disagree, because the other guys who people think who are good enough to be captains are ironically the worst people in the team to be captains, in my opinion. Even when Harry Kane was here, I've said always this: Kane for me is not a leader. He wasn't a leader. But ironically, when Kane had the captain armband, nobody wanted to talk about Kane's nobody wants to talk about him being the captain, not being good enough captain, because everybody loves Harry Kane. But Son, not everybody criticized him. Everybody criticized Son for being the captain.
When people talk about Son, and you were talking about him being nice and everything, is it because like your fans want him to be more like vocal?
They want him to be like they want him to be. They don't see the Michael Keane type of captain in him. That's why they don't like him being the captain.
True, but I don't like. I understand what you're saying, but I think that kind of is a thing because Maresca said something about. I'll use in comparison. Reece James. We know Reece James is not the vocal type. But Maresca has been challenging. He spoke out in the press conference for this game about Reece having to be more of a leader, having to speak out and be more vocal and stuff. And we saw it today on the pitch, leading by example, making sure our players didn't get involved in talking to the referee, potentially getting sent off. Because that game against Newcastle in the end, it could have taken a bit of a turn for the worse, especially how the game was going. So do you not think from the fans' perspective, I understand why they would want him to be a bit more vocal. I understand it's not his personality, that's not how he is. So I'm not saying he should change it, but I understand why your fans feel that way.
No, see, that's the funny thing about it. He is doing these things. He's making sure that, like, do you see? That's the funny part about it. Do you ever see our players getting carded because they're kicking the ball away, or because the ref, or they're speaking to the ref too much? It rarely happens. Like, ironically, I see it more often with your football club, Prime, where Jackson can't control his temper and gets a foolish yellow card because of it. I see sometimes I see Surfer on stream yelling about on the stream, talking about how Jackson's just shuts up every time. And ironically, Son is vocal, but you know, this is for me. I think he is vocal, but like I mentioned, I think the issue is that it's the perception that people think that Son is a quiet guy, and I don't believe he is a quiet guy. I don't believe so. Do I think he's the most suitable captain of a football club when you want to go and win some things? Not necessarily, but it's for me it's the hypocrisy because they don't want to see Son to be the captain, but they want Romero to be the captain. But then what does Romero do to, in their people's eyes, then to be the captain? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, you know how English fans, well, they want like a John Terry, Vidic type of captain. They don't want someone like Son. He's not of the, and that's not on Son. That's not but yeah, I understand it.
But that's the thing though. That's why I'm just calling it out because our two worst games, Son wasn't involved and Romero was the captain. But nobody is willing to call it out that he wasn't leading the team. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, because I do believe that in a perfect reality, he shouldn't be the captain, in my opinion, if you ask me about Son. But I'm not saying under this current team, and when I look at the players, I don't understand necessarily why they can just not accept that not only is he one of our most senior players at the football club, but also he demands respect within the players, because you can see that in my eyes, I do believe that he demands respect. But again, football is all about perception in my eyes, and I think our fans just will never really be able to accept it. But hey, man.
But yeah, Mike, so what did you I know you were in the West Ham game, obviously, but did you actually go back to take a look at the Crystal Palace Tottenham game?
I saw the goal. I saw the Mateta goal, so I saw like the mistake and how the ball went in and stuff. But it's very typical in my opinion, because it's just like, I know a lot of Tottenham fans have the thing of the whole Dr. Tottenham thing, where it's like, oh, Palace, you haven't had a win, well, Dr. Tottenham will come and sort you out, like, and then Palace get their first win against
Tottenham. I ironically mentioned that in the group chat 2 days before the game.
Yeah, like I think it's very typical. Like, obviously a lot of talk last week. Obviously we lost to Tottenham and then went clear of us in the table. Then it's back to where it is. You know, I think we're only a point behind. Funny enough, and we're
literally what happened last week.
Yeah, literally, it's gone back to where it was. We're dog shit. But like the thing is with Tottenham, I'm saying what you mentioned earlier, Jez, about the attackers. Like, I just think, like, I don't know. Obviously, I didn't watch the game, but I agree with you when you said about the two wingers and one striker thing. Of what you needed. I just don't think that for what your system is, it's very reliant on your wingers creating chances and putting in mainly low crosses for your striker. And you guys don't have the wingers for that, in my opinion. I think it's a lot to ask for Son to even do that whole touchline winger role at his age, at this moment in time. He doesn't really have the explosiveness / pace that he used to. I think Solanke, every time I've watched him play, I think it's been very harsh, some of the criticism of his performances, because I don't think he's been getting much service for an attacking team, in my opinion. I thought he was decent against us, but like for an attacking team, you don't really give your striker any service. Like Brendan Johnson, like, he is what he is. He's good on transition, good in space and stuff, but he was never their level. Maybe you're scapegoating a bit too much, but you've also got people like Timo Werner, like some Mikey Moore. As you said, there's the whole hero complex. This is what Man United do with their youngsters, where they bring a youngster in, they expect you to save the whole team. Like, you can't be doing that with Mikey Moore, because that guy is talented. Like, he's very young as well. You just integrate him into some form of squad player and seems to trust him somewhat. But maybe he doesn't seem to trust his already senior attackers. Like, and I think if you're an attacking team, Your attackers have to be good. Like, it's quite simple as that. Like, and also you got to have more of a plan B for when you come up against a somewhat organized defense. When there's a 1v3 in terms of your striker versus 3 centre backs, why are you crossing the ball? It's just very predictable for the centre backs to go and read that. You need to find a plan B sometimes. Like, I don't mean plan B in terms of system, but plan B in your way of attacking to unlock a defense that's somewhat organized. Because I feel like that's what Tottenham struggled against. Like, it was like against us in the first half. Last week, that's when we defended all right. We were somewhat organized. As soon as we became this disjointed and stuff, your players are good at attacking space and finishing, but you guys need space. Like, I feel like on transition, you guys do quite well.
We are really good in transition. I think we're really good.
Yeah, but when you're exactly when you're in possession, when you come up against anyone that's slightly organized, and ironically against Palace, who haven't really been organized at all, then you guys struggle. You guys don't have another way of unlocking, which kind of comes down to the way your midfield maybe maybe the way your fullbacks sometimes play. Like, maybe Maddison needs to come into more criticism. I don't know, like with the way I don't know how you guys played today, but when I've watched Spurs, that's
it was shocking. Like, I think today, I think was more. It was worse usual. It was worse than it usual. It's because it's one thing for me where you struggle to do the creating part, because we have seen Spurs not sometimes be able to find a breakthrough and team take advantage of that. We've seen that against Leicester. We've seen that against Newcastle. We've seen it. But at least you would have to say a scenario where at least you get a half chance. At least that. Outside the Maddison chance, generally nothing happened. And this whole part, I think the players were like, as you mentioned, Mike, you're 100% right. The white players in our team, ironically, do not fit what Ange wants to play, regardless of how good Johnson's purple part was in terms of his scoring wise. I'm looking at the overall play, and from an overall play standpoint, what are you bringing to the football team? Same with Kulusevski and Maddison, for example, in the instance today. Like, Maddison could have scored today, but the performance itself would have not overshadowed of how bad, in my opinion, he looked. In my opinion, same with Kulusevski. That's why he hooked. It was that bad. He hooked both the creators in the team off, and hoping that he can maybe get like a scrappy goal today. This whole bad it was.
Wow.
No, I mean, I completely hear it, and unfortunately, this is the downside when it comes to watching Tottenham, is that they have these moments when you see them play this amazing football, right? Attacking offensive football, but it can only work out until you play a team that can give you trouble. And am I wrong in saying that Crystal Palace haven't won a game so far this season until today?
No, they haven't won. Like, until today, it's the first week, which makes it just worse in my eyes, because you're going against a team that is literally not in form. Like, we haven't been in creators form, but you can at least say you're coming off the West Ham game, you're coming off the AC Alkmaar game. You can at least say that, but nothing, Omar. If we're really being honest, like, I don't have no positives, and all the criticism that I'm being seen today, I think they're valid.
No, I hear it completely. Big up, Antonio, man. What did you see the Spurs game today?
No, I never watched Tottenham today. Big up, by the way, before I go on. Big up the panel and the chat always. I never seen the Tottenham game. I watched Man United and West Ham, and then I done our game against Arsenal. But I seen that it ended 1-0. I was like, wow. I mean, Eze's assist was amazing, but as the game itself, I don't know. Tell me what happened. Did you deserve to lose? Was it a domination?
No, it was.
We should have lost by more, to be honest. Vicario made a lot of key saves, in my opinion, that could have actually kept the score from going even worse than just a 1-0.
Shouldn't have to against Crystal Palace, should he? That should be a game that you should be winning, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. We should have. That's why it's just. Yeah. Again, embarrassing is the right word to use, pretty much.
Took me by surprise, that result, definitely.
Yeah, big up to Nick and Joel. He's basically talking about Eze. How good was Eze in the game today? Apparently, he was he's been under a lot of criticism so far this season. So
I felt Eze was in instance in the game. I felt Eze was actually alright, but you can kind of see why he's been having a bad season. Sometimes it's to find the ball at times. Sometimes him when he's in front of goal, when he should be converting, he doesn't convert. I think that's one thing that I can probably say about today is better than usual, but I know Eze can play a lot better.
Yeah.
No, I completely hear that. But listen, we'll definitely move on. Let's move on to Chelsea and to Prime. Obviously, Chelsea today played Newcastle United. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did go back. Before we actually went live, I was actually watching the highlights of that game, and to be fair, I think that Newcastle played better today than they did in their last few games. But at the end of the day, Chelsea came back. They came back to good form, and they came back with a win. What did you think of their performance, Prime?
I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with how we fought near the end and hung on. There was a lot of like defending and last-ditch defending near the end. I'm happy that Reece was able to get a full 90 minutes and not get a knock or anything. In the first half, we tried to like invite Newcastle onto us and hit them on the break. That's why we started with both Madueke and Neto on the flanks, and no Enzo in midfield. And it was working for about 15, 20 minutes or so. And then Eddie Howe adapted and Newcastle sat back a bit so we didn't get space to exploit in behind. And then in the second half, Gusto came off. We brought on Cucurella, we brought on Enzo, and we started to control the game a lot more. I don't know. It wasn't. I thought we would. I thought it would be a bit of a bloodbath. I'll be honest. So, but I'm happy that we got the win regardless. I don't know what's going on with Newcastle. Steve, like, he's angry about how bad they've been this season, but I haven't watched them until this game. So, yeah, so I have nothing else to compare it to. But yeah, for us, in terms of, it was a good performance. Brilliant game from Jackson. He had a brilliant striker's performance. Cole Palmer was great as well. Reece, arguably, I'd say man of the match. He was also brilliant. Colwell, he played very well in the heart of our defense. Sanchez is the biggest weakness in our team. He's a complete bozo. The fact that there's Chelsea.
Can I ask you a question about Sanchez before you continue? Who do you think was better? Do you think Petrovic did better last season when he was given a chance?
Petrovic is a better goalkeeper.
Bro, that's what I was saying. Because I'm going to be real. When I watched Petrovic last season, he was actually one of your better players.
The only reason why people rate Sanchez is because they think he's good with the ball at his feet, but he's not. He's not. His distribution is very, very much overrated. He is one of the worst goalkeepers I've seen play for my club.
I can't lie. Yeah, I've never rated this Sanchez signing. I didn't rate it in the first place. I remember I remember when I first watched it for Brighton, and I think it was actually the West Ham game when I was there. We drew 1-1. Every time you put pressure on him, that's when you see the faults in his distribution. The problem is, it's the small moments where he just did that sick pass, but no one put anything on him. It's when he's under pressure, he can't pass the ball, and he's not going to necessarily command in his box either. Like the thing is, it may look nice in training because nobody's really putting pressure on him like the Premier League intensity, like you see week in, week out. But I think that's why Chelsea would have signed that Jorgensen guy. Where I thought he was going to be the first choice, but I think Petrovic was a way better goalkeeper than
Sanchez. Like I was on Lewis's stream and I said it. I laughed when I said it because it's funny, but I said, are they using Sanchez as a press trigger? Whenever he had the ball, they were just targeting him, and he was hoofing the ball out like randomly. There's a stat on my phone if I can find it about Sanchez, because this guy's gonna piss me off. And the fact that there are Chelsea fans who think that he's better than Vicario is also crazy as well.
Nah, bro. I do not. Nah, he's not. He's not.
There's people who genuinely rate this guy. Where?
But yeah, what about the rest of you, Mike? Did you take a look at the Chelsea game?
I saw
Robert Sanchez. Sorry, Mike. Robert Sanchez was dribbled past more times than Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwell, Moises Caicedo, and Malo Gusto combined 0 today.
Oh my days! That is an awful record. Goalkeeper getting dribbled past more than the defenders. Nah,
crazy,
bro.
Yes, there's also another stat. I can't find it, but like he only completed like 50% of his distribution.
Bro, when Chelsea first signed him,
wasn't he supposed to be signed to be a ball playing goalkeeper? Wasn't that the reason? Wasn't
And
that the whole
what's
idea?
crazy is Petrovic is actually good with Petrovic is not amazing per se with the ball at his feet, but the one thing that he'll do if he feels there's a little bit of pressure, he will hoof it. So many times Sanchez will purposely, well, it feels like he's purposely just giving the ball back to them. So many times against Newcastle where we'd have the ball and like I'm on the stream and then like Lewis is screaming, blue shirt, blue shirt, blue shirt, kick it to a Chelsea player. And then he just hoofs the ball long. And then Newcastle have Shar and Dan Burn playing centre back. They collect it, they head it back to a Newcastle player, and then we're under pressure. Listen, the biggest upgrade in this team that's needed is a goalkeeper. As much as I don't really trust our centre backs, like if Chelsea had Vicario, I would not be worried about getting top four, for example. I'd be very comfortable about getting top four. Sanchez is the biggest weakness, and I want Jurgensen to eventually get a chance because in the games I've seen him in, and yes, people can say it's only Conference League games, fine, but the games I've seen him play, he has looked very comfortable playing the ball out the back. Whenever he's been pressed, he's been fine. He makes very good saves as well. He looks like a competent goalkeeper, and that's what I need right now. Because Sanchez, if we don't get top four, it will be on him. It will solely be his fault if we don't get top four, and it'll also be on Maresca because I think Chelsea right now we're gonna go through what Pep went through when he first came, where he brought in Claudio Bravo, thinking he'd be good enough, and eventually he had to get dropped. Sanchez eventually has to get dropped. He has to.
I mean, yeah.
This is the thing, yeah, as well. Like, I think the problem is with the whole PR of Robert Sanchez in the first place is obviously people didn't watch Brighton like week in, week out because they went on TV week in, week out. And even today, I'm a West Ham fan, but I watched Brighton quite a lot to know enough about Robert Sanchez. And the problem was there was two specific games in like before he joined Chelsea where his PR went up, and they were both against Man United. It was the 4-0 where against Ranić where he just put one long ball over the top, and people called Sanchez this sick guy or whatever. He's not. And there was a game in the FA Cup semi-final where he pulls off these amazing saves. And then people, because he got dropped for Jason Steele, people made it out like it was Robert De Zerbi mistreating him or whatever because of
he was trying to force a move.
Because I think Chelsea had one of the goalkeeping coaches from Brighton, so I'm pretty sure he was the one that recommended Robert Sanchez because, like, obviously he worked with him. So, like, that's how he got his move. But I don't know how he got his move. Like, he looks so out of his depth every time. Not even when he just played for Chelsea, when he played for Brighton as well. Like, definitely by far the biggest weak link. Like, you can't trust that guy even when he's commanding his box. Like, just as general shot stopper, which is a phrase I hate because you're a goalkeeper, you're meant to do that. Like, he's not even good at that either. Like, not really good at that. He has the odd game where you can pull off some good saves, but that's the odd game. He was on decent form at the start of the season, but come on, man. But
even that was a bit like he saved us in one game, which I'll give him credit for. But majority of the saves that he's made this season, I've played as a goalkeeper. The majority of saves he's made are camera saves where they look better than they actually are. Like it's and that's what people are hyping him about, and people want to say he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. He's not. The guy's like. Let me just stop because I'll continue ranting. Like
I hear you.
I actually like the team that we have right now. I actually like what Maresca's doing, but the more you play Sanchez, he's going to call because we can't have Palmer bail us out all the time. We eventually, we're going to need our goalkeeper to stop doing stupid things.
I hear that. I feel like I understand what you mean because I did go back and watch the replays, and yes, he is. The one thing about Robert Sanchez is I'm kind of like with you, Max. I never saw the hype that other people saw in this goalkeeper. And since he's arrived at Chelsea, honestly, bro, like ever since he's arrived, he's literally done nothing. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's been very, very erratic in some of the things that he does. You understand what I'm saying? And I honestly look at your team right now, Prime, and I'm gonna be very real. I do believe that he is your biggest weakness right now, because his defense is looking good. The midfield is doing great. The attack is doing well. Nicholas Jackson this season has definitely improved from last season, right? Yep. I think that the goalkeeper is the problem. And listen, to be fair, you're right. You do have Jurgensen. And listen, Jurgensen was a highly rated player when he was at Villarreal, so he's not a slouch. You understand what I'm saying? I think that if Robert Sanchez's form doesn't improve, I can see Jorgensen being given a chance. But yeah, big up to Nick, who says, any chance Chelsea finishing above Arsenal this season?
No,
No, not this season.
no.
Next season, maybe.
What do you think? What do you think, Anthony? You think?
Yeah.
You think?
Look,
you think
yeah.
Chelsea? Do you think Chelsea will finish above Arsenal this season? Do you think they still will?
You've got a chance, Omar, to be honest. Like, Arsenal aren't all that. I promise you right now, they're not all that. We watched them today. Yet again, you know, they weren't even good. You know, we should have beat them today. That was a massive opportunity missed. Right,
Yeah, we'll get into that definitely.
Yeah, we're
but
not going
King,
to talk about that game yet, but I think definitely you've got a chance because Arsenal aren't as good as what the media are portraying them out to be. I've done most watch-alongs for their games this season. The only game they've actually been decent in was PSG. That was it. You know,
and even they weren't even that good, to be fair to me.
Yes,
I think that they were good
through late on. Yeah.
But what about you, Jess? Do you think that this Chelsea team might be able to finish above Arsenal?
It depends. I mean, it depends because I don't necessarily think Arsenal have been great this season, and I think Chelsea do actually look impressive this year so far. Well, it's a long season, so I still would say at this moment in time Arsenal. Like, I just have to see more because Brian mentioned it earlier. Like, the dip of form can eventually come, and you would then have to see how Chelsea will manage with that. Well, with Arsenal, at least I can comfortably say that, as much as I hate to say it, they're going to be at least there in the third, second, competing for the first spot this season. So yeah, I think Chelsea a bit maybe too soon. Maybe let's see, maybe next season. But yeah, I gotta obviously.
Yeah. I just saw it, man. Big up to you, Jess, for coming.
Yeah, big up everyone, big up the chat, big up the people in the panel. So yeah, big up.
Big up.
Big up to you, bro.
Big up. Also another horrible feeling. Chelsea will bid 40 million for Kelleher. Nah, they've got enough keepers. They have like 5 keepers, man.
Kelleher.
You've got about 11 keepers in the squad.
I actually watch Kelleher, right? Because I'm Irish. He is not. I think a lot of the praise he gets is because he plays in Liverpool and he has like world class centre backs ahead of him. The guy's not as good as what people make him out to be. I promise you, he's not.
Wow. Yeah.
I think he is personally. I think he's obviously, you know, Alisson's obviously a big upgrade. Obviously, he's got a lot of boots to fill if Alisson's out the team. But I think he starts for most teams in the Prem outside Liverpool, personally.
No, I completely hear.
I'll take him.
A lot of teams.
He's not better. He's not better.
I mean, after the performance we saw from Fabianski, I'm just saying, man. Fabianski was looking good.
Fabianski can't kick a ball though, mate. Like,
wait, Mike, he's not better than He's not better than Ariola.
Right now, he might be though.
Yes,
he's not.
Well, yeah, let's get
again. I don't think people realize how much it helps having Van Dijk ahead of you. I watch Kelleher.
Okay.
For Ireland, when he has defenders ahead of him that are not elite level, he is a very average goalkeeper.
Okay.
He's a very average goalkeeper.
Last season, look how many chances we conceded the game with that stupid high line, and Kelleher was saving them one-on-ones. Same with Alisson as well, because that was Klopp's system, weren't it? We were conceding chances left, right, and centre. Kelleher swept up in a lot of them games and made some massive saves. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
as well. Some people make him out to be. I get that because I know what Liverpool Twitter's like. They gas him up as if he's like the next coming and all that, and he can replace Alisson. You can't. He's good enough to just step in for the time being. But you know, I'm happy with him. I think he's good. He starts most Prem teams. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kelleher has been doing this thing definitely. But listen, let's get into obviously the game that I think a lot of us were watching today. Obviously. West Ham 2, Manchester United.
Sorry to go to love you.
Well, West Ham 2,
I see my guy there.
United 1. I watched this game, and before I let the West Ham fan and the United fan go, because I know you guys have a lot to say. King has been quiet this whole time. I know he has a lot to say. We'll get into it. But
as long as King has gone without speaking, man, he's most.
Bro, no, because you know why, Prime? He's waiting. You see his face. Look at his face, bro. This guy's waiting. He's like, listen, I don't want to take over the show. I'm just gonna let everybody say what they have to say because when I go, I'm gonna go for a while. So yeah, I'll leave you. I'll give you the stage soon. But listen, let me just do my quick analysis of what I saw. What I saw was that, to be fair, today I believe that Manchester United, they played very well. The problem was these guys, the finishing today was genuinely incredibly bad. And Fabianski today had an amazing game. Well, he was making crazy saves today. Like I was watching, I know you were there in the stadium today, right? The saves that he was making, right, was ridiculous. But that Dalot miss to go to go past the keeper and literally have an empty net. The net is right there. You like I know you, and you know we just mentioned about the Lewandowski chance, but this was literally the best chance I saw. You have no one near you. How do you sky it from that close? It was absolutely ridiculous. And look, obviously, a lot of people are going to talk about the penalty and all of those stuff. Listen, we'll get into all of that, but let's talk about this. Throughout the game, Manchester United dominated, and then when West Ham got into it, they got the first goal. Manchester United equalized. And as far as the penalty is concerned, I'm going to be very honest, I think the penalty was harsh. I do believe it was harsh. I think that 9 times out of 10, you don't give that. I'm sorry. I feel like De Ligt, you know, he did stretch his leg, but he did try to get out of the challenge, and Ings kind of like fell towards him, and the contact was landed, right? And because of that, I genuinely believed that it shouldn't have been given, but it was given, and at the end of the day, the West Ham left with a win, which is a surprise considering what we've been talking about with Lopetegui throughout the season. But Mike, I'll let you go first. You were in the stadium. What did you think of that performance?
Yeah, well, when I saw the lineup, it was a disgrace. Like playing Soler on the left is a disgrace.
Oh my days!
Bro, Soler on the left, Paquetá on the 10, Rodriguez and Alvarez behind him, meaning your only outlet was Bowen.
I didn't watch the game, but I saw the lineup. I thought it was Paquetá on the left and Soler.
It wasn't. No, because Paquetá only played on the left because of Moyes last season. It was only a Moyes thing, really. But he was that for me. Like people hyped this Paquetá on the left thing. He wasn't that good on the left. Like people overhyped just because he can combine with Emerson. Like we needed a third. We needed a third man on that left hand side last season, but people didn't understand that we needed to run in behind. But like this lineup, I was like, why is Mavropanos playing instead of Todibo? Okay, fine. Todibo failed a late fitness test, but then again, Todibo came on 45 minutes in, so surely you could have done an extra 45 minutes to play the whole game. But we saw the upgrade when he came on. Not saying Mavropanos was even that bad, but cool, whatever. With the rest of the lineup, it was like, cool, we don't have much options. Antonio's up front, Bowen on the right. Our only option is to play on the right, because what's the point of playing a midfielder on the left? It's the exact same as I said last season with David Moyes. This manager's doing the exact same thing. Now, in the first half, I can't believe that first half ended 0-0. Now, Fabianski, fair play. Like, I like Fabianski. I just think like he takes too long to release the ball when he's throwing it or kicking it. And also, half the time when he does throw it or kick it, it goes off the pitch anyway. Like, that's my problem with him. But, like, he made a couple good saves, a couple great saves, in fact. With the Dalot one, everyone in the ground on my side thought he was offside, and he just missed. When we saw it was out for a goal kick, we was like, "Oh my god, that's the worst miss I've ever seen in the Premier League, ever."
No,
it's worse than that. It's worse than the Torres one against United. Worse than all the ones you can think of. Yeah,
that's the thing, because you know why? You know why that miss was so bad? That's the thing. He took a touch. That's what made it worse, right? He took a touch, and he's in the box. Like, bro. You have all the time in the world. You have to just lower the shot, bro. Why would you hit that as hard as you can?
Yeah, and also, ironically, speaking of right backs, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, wow, amazing again. Every time this guy plays, he proves me wrong, game by game by game. Now, listen, I knew it would be an upgrade on what we have, a significant upgrade on what we have, but because this signing took so long as well, it was just like it's so worth it now. It's so worth it now because game by game, this guy he's just more in his groove. He feels like he's found a new lease of life, and he's just having fun playing football, believe it or not, even though we're awful.
Why are you surprised, though?
Because I didn't think he'd be this good in possession, like combining with players, the stuff he's doing. Like the thing is, he looks like the most comfortable in possession in our team, and we've got some good players on the ball. Like we've got Curtis Bowen, Kilman's good on the ball, Tadimo's good on the ball, Emerson's good on the ball. Like, but he's so calm with the ball. Like he finds situations where I'm like, how are you doing this still? How do you still have the ball? Like he's playing like a winger sometimes. Like, I know he used to be a winger, and it was funny enough, one of our academy coaches now was the one who transformed him into a fullback at Palace, believe it or not. But it's still like him and Kilman have been our best players this season. It's not hard because Lopetegui's made everyone worse this season, and all the new signings have had a hard time settling in. But overall, it's just the story of what, like, I'm not even trying to take the piss, but it's the story of what Man United are. But what I mean by that is the attackers that they have are so overhyped. Like Fernandez, like, oh my god, that Bruno Fernandez performance. Generally,
Oh
like
my days.
we could sometimes we complain about Paquetá in our fan base. It could be worse. It could be way worse. You could have Bruno Fernandez, like Marcus Rashford and Garnacho, so overrated. Like Rashford wasn't even that bad on the right. I thought he actually should have stayed on instead of Garnacho because Garnacho did nothing. Garnacho generally looked scared of Wan-Bissaka because he knew he couldn't take him on 1v1, so he just kept going backwards and kept trying to run on the inside. With us today, it was just a matter of, if you watch the game, it was two horrible teams for two completely different reasons. If we didn't win today because we were good and we turned the corner or anything, which is what people like to believe. Well, some of the copers in our fan base like to believe. We haven't. We're going to go to Nottingham Forest next week and lose because Nottingham Forest are really good this season, and then we've got Everton at home, which we usually struggle with Everton in general. But yeah, like with the penalty, I don't care if it's a penalty or not. I don't care. The reason why I don't care is because every team has been robbed. Every team gets robbed, which is a word that has been used so much in football. Any Man United fan complaining about the referee has no self-awareness about, how many decisions I've seen Man United get. Also, with how many chances you had in the actual game itself. I don't like it when fan bases just single out a refereeing decision for the whole game. Cool, you can address it, you can criticize the refs, but by the time, if you watch the Premier League long enough to not know that you're going to get a shit ref in the Premier League anyway, and also it's a 90-minute game. There's situations where you could have created more chances, you could have finished more chances, you could have defended your box a lot more. Stop making excuses about referees. That's why I don't talk about referees. I don't care if West Ham get robbed. I don't talk about it. I don't care because I know referees are shit in this league. What am I meant to expect? And this is the thing with this game. Like, cool, you can talk about the penalty all you like. You had chances in the first half. Dalot literally had a whole open goal. Your captain is skying it in the 90th minute. Like, this is your captain. Come collect your king. Like, Bruno Fernandes put in a stinker of a performance. Stinker. And that is all self-inflicted when it comes to Man United. So you can't really blame anyone but yourselves. And this goes for every team when this happens to. Like, or just because it happened at the end of the game doesn't mean you got robbed. I used to think like this. But I realized the referees are going to rob you. They're going to rob you, no matter what team it is. But people like to do this. Oh, but this team has been lenient towards refs. And people look into too many statistics to cope with how bad their club is doing at the time, and rivalries, and like trying to get one over their rivals, etc. It's nonsense. That's why I criticize Arsenal fans so much. But with this game, it was just a matter of who was going to be less shit on the day. Man United dominated the first half, but then take their chances. We just took our chances, and Somerville came on and had a great game. Who should have started, by the way? This is why I say free Somerville every time we play.
Somerville, you see what I'm saying?
He was great when he come on.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? This Somerville guy, we talked about him before, Max, right? At the end of the day, we were talking about how this guy has not been given a chance. He comes in and actually scores the goal. That was actually a nice finish, right?
Yeah.
There was a quick reaction by him, right? It looked like a loose ball, and then he just got into it and scored the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But yeah, listen. But Prime, did you see the West Ham United game?
Yeah, I didn't watch it live because obviously, the almighty Chelsea were playing, but I watched the highlights, and it was.
He's just sitting there taking.
Man United are bad.
Yeah, there we go.
We played West Ham.
Yeah.
Like, we played West Ham, right?
Yeah.
And like, West Ham were bad against us, but at least we made them look even worse. Like, you would think Man United are playing a West Ham team who aren't in form, that you'd maybe be able to get something out of the game. And I know Man United started off a bit brightly, and they missed some chances, but like, overall, you guys are just so bad. Like you're not even shit. Like, you're just bad. At least being shit is somewhat entertaining. Like, you're just so bad. So bad.
It's like they're trying their hardest, Prem. They're trying their utmost hardest to score a goal, and they genuinely can't.
Bro,
Like
that's
Dallo,
Yeah.
like you know what's so funny? Dallo tried his hardest to score an open goal there. He just like,
bro.
but
He,
nah, man.
but this is the thing. I know people because I've heard some people trying to defend them. I'm like, bro. First of all, I don't care if you're a defender, a goalkeeper, a midfielder. I don't care
No,
what
yeah,
position you play, bro. You do not miss that. If I miss that, and I'm not even a professional, bro. If I miss that, bro, I'm walking off the pitch. I'm walking
I
off the
think
pitch, bro.
like
Because I'm done.
worst case scenario, get on target, and if it hits the post,
Hit the
then
bar. At least
whatever.
hit the bar or
on
something
target.
like that, bro. But you literally
Bro.
skied it. You went off target, bro.
If you miss
But
that, you
yeah.
pretend to be injured and come off. You don't show your face on that pitch. You pretend to be injured and you come off.
Yeah, you just
That's what
I
you do.
pulled
Be
I pulled the
shameless.
muscle. Yeah, pulled the muscle literally when you were just about to shoot the ball, and that's why you missed it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
exactly.
real, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
Anthony.
it's like
Anthony.
sorry, can I just
Yeah,
say this?
go.
With Man United, it's
Mhm.
like what Man United fans keep like are waiting for Ten Hag to get sacked.
Mm.
Honestly, I think they're going to try and give him the season, or they're going to try and give him as long as possible. I think because when you look at Poch last year, right? I wanted him gone, but I got to a point where I knew he wasn't going to go. I knew he was going to get the full season. Even Potter, it got to a point where I was like, okay, he's just going to get the full season. And then it got so bad, like we were in a relegation. It looked like we were in a relegation battle. Road to 40 points, and then he eventually got sacked. I think around the time after we beat Dortmund, and then Lampard came in and he played against Real Madrid in the quarterfinal, the Champions League. Yeah, so I think that's sort of the same thing that might happen with Man United. Like I'll get to a point where it's either so bad in this season, like relegation levels bad, that he'll end up leaving, or you guys will go on a little bit of a bounce again and stuff, and you just fluctuate from good, from slightly good to bad to slightly good to bad until the season ends, like what Chelsea did last year. So yeah, King, I know you're depressed and all,
Okay,
but honestly, that's probably your reality.
I'm gonna let King.
I know.
I'm
just gonna tell him, bro, that's probably gonna be your reality for Man United. So honestly, you don't really need to watch the games. Go outside, have fun with your family, man. Have fun with your friends. Do something else.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you, Prime. On the real, right, Prime? One thing I've learned about United now, watching them this season, I don't know if you noticed this as well, King, right? But I've realized that when you expect Ten Hag to get sacked, and you're like, okay, if he loses this game, he gets sacked,
And he won't.
If he, bro, for
No,
some
he
reason,
won't.
this brother, just when you think, because I thought after the Tottenham game, okay, if he loses against Porto, he's out, he's getting sacked, right? He draws the game against Aston Villa. I'm like, no way. Aston Villa, the Villa Park, yeah, they're getting defeated. Guess what? They got away with a draw against Fenerbahce. When they play Fenerbahce, I thought, yeah, Mourinho. I wait to against Mourinho. Yeah, that's an L for him. He goes and draws. Today against West Ham, we said, yo, West Ham are in poor form. Their manager is not good enough. They want their manager out. All of these stuff. They're probably going to go out there, get a draw or win, and then they lose. I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, I feel like this is what we should not expect from United. Anytime you expect United to lose, every time you expect them to lose, they will find a way to not lose. Not win, but they will find a way not to lose. When you expect them to win or expect them to draw, that's when they lose. That's what I just realized now. When the pressure is on, they commit. But when the pressure is off, that's when they actually like so shit. But listen, before I go to King, Anthony, quickly, what did you think of the United West Ham game? I know you were extremely happy to see what you saw today.
So yeah, I had the choice today. I'm either doing Palace, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle, or West Ham and Man United. I knew that I thought Tottenham would beat Palace, obviously. I knew Chelsea would beat Newcastle. So I've done this game because I knew Man United were going to lose, even though I knew, both teams are awful at the minute. But the first half was terrible. United had their chances and all that. Missed a few sitters. Dallo missing that open goal. I'll never understand how we done it. Professional football, getting paid hundreds of £1,000s a week, tens of thousands, whatever. Can't even get it on target. Open net. But yeah, look, listen, West Ham deserved it in the second half. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a great game to watch. I thought it was awful. Like on the watch along, I was like, this is terrible. This, Jesus Christ. But then, West Ham get the job done and they deserved it in the end. But United, mate, they are in trouble, seriously. He should have went a long time ago, to be honest. He's just prolonging it. I reckon 10 lives, mate. He needs to go. Swear down. More lives than a cat. Ridiculous.
This guy. Yeah, man. But yeah, King, this is your moment, bro.
Get your popcorn out.
Talk to me, King. What was your honest assessment of the game?
Big up the whole panel. Yeah, when Prime says I've been bro, like it gets to a point where you're not even depressed no more. You just expect it to happen. And I've just and this is the thing, yeah, like bro, like I didn't. This is what it's got to. Yeah, the past few games, or even at the start of the season, I wanted Man United to lose game just for this manager to get sacked, because I know this manager is a major problem. But people will call me toxic and negative. But hey, you know what I'm saying. But I couldn't give a shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? People know what I'm about, bro. You know them way there, like. Kadeki said to me on the Band of United show he's got receipts of people taking the piss out of me on the Offside channel. So because I call things out about my football club and people don't like it, but you know I told Kadeki to send me the receipts, so big up Kadeki every time. But yeah, on the game, bro. On the game, yes. Like, bro, I agree. I agree with Max. Yeah, I agree. It was a terrible game, and I knew it was going to be a terrible game because I know West Ham have been terrible, but so have we. So have we. And any United fans crying about the penalty, you hang your heads in shame. Like, we didn't do enough in the 90 minutes to win the game. Like. Yes, like in the first half, yeah, even though I don't rate him, even in the first half, Bruno did play a couple of nice passes, but in the second half, it was nowhere to be seen yet again. This guy, I've been saying, this guy with Ten Hag has been one of the major problems at my football club. But hey, my fan base said Paul Pogba was the problem. But hey, you know what I'm saying? But like, this is what, but my fan base don't know ball in it, but they tell me I don't know ball. So, but the thing is, yeah, is that the thing is that in the first half, obviously, Bruno had the header what went over the bar. Casemiro had a header saved by Fabianski. Dallo had the chance. Dallo knew what the assignment was. You know what I mean? Dallo's every time held out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Dallo knew what the assignment was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, Rasmus Højlund yet again missed another chance. That scrub again, Rasmus Højlund. I've been telling man about Rasmus Højlund since he first came into the football club. This guy's not good enough. Oh, let's give him time. No, bro. I've seen Wayne Rooney and Robin van Persie and Ruud van Nistelrooy and Andy Cole at my football club. I don't care about this guy. This guy's been bought with 72 million. This guy can't hold the ball. This guy got no technical ability. This guy just falls on the floor, bro. You know what I mean? Man's doing WWE and that on the floor every time, bro. Man's on the floor every time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, man thinks he can wrestle people and that, bro. Get out of here, man. Get this scrub out. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, same with Garnacho. I was told by my fan base, the new CR7 when he first broke through, I was told when he came off the bench and scored against Fulham, I was told he should have been given the number 7 shirt. That's what I was told. That's what I was told by my deluded fan base. He should be given the number 7. The man been stinking it week in and week out. All Garnacho does, yeah, all he does is just kick and run out wide. All he does with the ball, he just get out wide, go down the line, and then he loses it. And people won't call this out, but the goal what West Ham scored, the first goal what West Ham scored, guess who gave the ball away? Freaking Garnacho. Garnacho gave the ball away. Lisandro Martinez, he's been listen. Like in the first season, I thought he was good, but when he's had all these injuries, he hasn't been the same player, and he's been awful this season, Lisandro. But this is the thing. This is the thing. What frustrates me, because as a United fan, because I know in terms of quality in my squad, I know my squad is average, but I know so many other teams have also average squads in the Premier League. I know that we're not far away. The biggest problem is the difference is between the other clubs and us. It's because they've got better managers than us. Ten Hag's the worst manager in the Premier League. I don't care what anyone says. He's the worst manager in the Premier League, brother, and he's one of the worst in the world, bro. Man has been leaving Casemiro isolated in the midfield. People say Casemiro was the problem, but yet when Kobe Manu get isolated and he plays poor, no one speaks about it. Nobody speaks about it. And this is the thing, yeah. My fan base are still crying about Sir Alex Ferguson. My fan base think Eric Ten Hag can be the new Sir Alex Ferguson. My fan base are still crying about Sir Alex Ferguson. Listen, I'll be always grateful what he did for my football club, but at the same time, he's put us in the position where we've been drowning as a club. At the same time, because the man allowed the Glazers to come into the football club. A man's making the a man's trying to make footballing decisions as an ambassador, and he should not be making footballing decisions as an ambassador. And sacking him was the right decision from Ineos. But the thing what I didn't get about that is, why didn't you sack him in July? Why didn't you sack Sir Alex Ferguson and Eric Ten Hag in July? Why is it taking you? This is what I spoke about on the Man United. Like it took you a week or two to sack Sir Alex Ferguson. Why didn't you sack him in July? You knew when you first came into the club, you knew Sir Alex Ferguson. You knew that Sir Alex Ferguson had always had a say at Manchester United, but yet you wanted to stick up with him and let him have all the say around the football club. But now you want to sack him because he's having too much of a say. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I gave Ineos credit for the signings that we made, but the two biggest mistakes was keeping the manager and giving Bruno Fernandes 300k a week. That's the two biggest. That's the two biggest mistakes on top of not sacking Sir Alex Ferguson. So that's 3 mistakes. So that's the 3 big mistakes that Ineos have done. And this is what United fans don't look at. My fan base always want a scapegoat. They always want to blame Sancho. They always want to blame Casemiro. They want to blame all of these men what came in, Di Maria, all of these men. But they don't look at the previous managers that we've had, and they don't look at the structure of the football club, how bad it's been. And this is the thing. And when I say stuff like Jesse Lingard is a better footballer than Bruno Fernandes, all my fan base get rattled. But people don't understand yet. I've seen Jesse Lingard come through, and I've seen Jesse Lingard when he was at West Ham, when he was given the freedom at West Ham. Man was banging in goals every week, brother, for West Ham, pretty much every week. Like, and this is the thing. My fan base always blame the wrong players. They always, because they just want kick and run merchants. They just want players that just work hard. I don't care, bro. Like, you can have players that work hard for a team like Brighton, for a team like Luton, Ipswich Town, and all of these men. But Manchester United, Manchester United, I don't care. It's about, are you good enough or not, regardless of your age. Like I said, I've seen players. People have to understand. I've seen Mason Greenwood. I've seen Kobe Mainu now. I've seen players that we had in the past. Beckham, like people Beckham, Rooney, like people weren't speaking about those ages. And even if you look at players now, like Mohamed Kudus, Cole Palmer, like Lavia, no one speaks about their age. So why is it? So when Garnacho is putting stinker after stinker and Rasmus Højlund is why is it always the age thing? You man say Project Youth, yeah. You man wanted to give Rasmus Højlund time, but you don't want to give Joshua Zirkzee time. You don't want to give Joshua Zirkzee time, but you want to give Rasmus Højlund time. When Joshua Zirkzee has played less games, and Joshua Zirkzee actually does more than scoring goals. He does more than that. He actually creates for us. Rasmus Højlund does nothing. He went 0017 and no one spoke about it. No one spoke about it
today. And the crazy thing is, he's the one that actually got the assist for Casemiro's goal, wasn't he? He was the one that headed it towards Casemiro, and Casemiro finished it.
Yep. He got the assist, bro. But again, people won't speak about that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, just say, this is what I can't stand about United fan. Just say that you don't like Xerxes, not because he's not good. And just say that you don't like the guy. Just say you didn't like Paul Pogba. Stop hiding. Stop pretending. Stop pretending like they are not good enough. Just say that you don't like these players. Just say you like players like Mason Mount. Just say that, bro. Like that's all it is. That's all it is. And like the thing is, is that I am never going to complain about referee decisions, because like Mike said, we all know the referees are shit in the Premier League. We all know the referees are inefficient. We all know referees can't do their job. It's because a lot of players don't get this. A lot of players, everyone wants to talk about referees. About what you did in 90 minutes. What did you do in 90 minutes, bro? You had a whole 90, 80 minutes, whatever, to impact the game, and you did fuck all, bro. And man wanted to speak about referees. Like, this is the thing. This is why my fan base, this is why my club's been down in the dumps. Yes, because of the Glazers, and yes, partly because of Sir Alex Ferguson, but partly as well, is because of my fan base. This is what people don't understand, because of my fan base. And I've always said it. I just said it on Northside Stream just now. I don't care about the process project shit. I don't care about all of that. I care about getting over the line and winning trophies and playing good football. That's what I care about. And the facts is, Man United sign 5 players every transfer window. That's what we've done for pretty much most managers that have been here. Sign 5 players in the summer transfer window every season. 10. So when people say Ten Hag hasn't had his players and he's had injuries, we've brought. He was given 5 players that he wanted in the first summer, and then 5 players in the second summer when he was given full control of transfers. Plus he wanted to keep players. Plus out of those 10 players, plus he wanted to keep players like Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay. He wanted, even though I like Dalot, he wanted to keep Dalot. He wanted to keep Lindelof. He chose to keep these guys. He chose to keep these guys, bro. He chose to keep these guys and play these guys, bro. He chose that. And this is the thing, This is why I just said on Northside channel, any manager that comes in, I will give a manager 2 seasons at minimum. And if he can't reach the objectives that need to be, if he can't take us forward in 2 seasons, he can go. Because once I start accepting Man United going 2 seasons without a trophy and seeing or seeing less direction, even with trophies, like it comes to a thing like Arsenal where it's like a 5-year process and all of that. And I'm not going through that, because I've been through that with Ollie and with other managers, bro. I'm not going through the process shit. Like, bro, like respect isn't given, bro. You have to earn the respect, bro. You have to earn respect, bro. And most managers get 18 months to prove themselves. And if they can't prove themselves in 18 months, guess what, people? They get sacked. That's what happens. When you don't perform in the normal job, guess what, people? You get sacked. They don't care about your age. They don't care what you've got going on in your life. If you can't do the job, you get sacked. And people will say to me, oh, what you got against feminine people and all of that, bro. It's like, bro, like the thing is, yeah, you can be emotional at times. Yes, you can be emotional. But when you're emotional every day about the football club and you're holding the club back 24/7, I can't have that, bro. I can't have that, bro. When it comes to business, bro, you have to be logical, fam. You have to be logical. You have to take your emotions out of business, fam. You have to be logical, fam. And that's what Man United haven't done for 10 years. That's why we've been in the dumps because of my fan base. But people will call me flawless, Saeed, all of these man negative. They will say we're not true Man United fans. Same with Kadeki. They will call Kadeki negative because we call shit out, bro. And I remember on a video with Northside, I said when Ineos came in, when I was praising Ineos for the signings that they was making, like Xerxes, Mazzarari, and Delete, I also said if Ineos do something that I don't like, I am going to call it out, and I've stayed consistent on that. I've stayed consistent on that. I've called them out for giving Bruno 300k. I've called them out of keeping this manager. I called them out for going for Thomas Tuchel when you wanted to play possession style of football. I've called them out for it, bro. And this is the thing. Ineos have done some good things, but they've also done some bad things that I can't ignore. And the bad things are outweighing the good things right now, bro. And this is the thing, bro. This is the thing I can't stand about my fan base because they will say I'm negative, bro.
But yeah, I completely hear you. But listen, big up to Prime with the. He basically said the United have created 26 big chances and missed 22 of them. Bro, that is ridiculous. That is actually bro. This is levels right here. I cannot believe, bro. But look, I'll say this right very quickly because I do want to move on.
In a bit, yeah. I'll go.
Yeah.
We got a paddle, bro.
Listen,
Thank you for having me on, Omar.
Peace out, mate. I'll sub to your channel as well.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to
man.
Mike's, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to Mike's.
man.
But listen, this is the only thing I'm gonna say before we do move on to the final thing, which is the Arsenal Liverpool game. But this is what I will say. When it comes to Ineos, right? They had an opportunity. This whole patience with the manager stuff. I'm sorry. When you're looking at what Hansi Flick is doing at Barcelona, it throws all of that out of the window. It throws all of that out of the window because he's come in his first season and he's instantly literally taken us from a team that literally won nothing last season to a team that could potentially win everything this season. We are feared in Europe now. People now are looking at us when in the beginning of the season, no one was looking at us as any kind of challenge, right? And that's all because of him. So at the end of the day, I'm not hearing this whole thing. So yeah, Ineos does deserve blame for this. They should be called out for all of these stuff. But look, we're gonna go to the final thing before we do wrap up because I do want to wrap this up soon. Let's quickly talk about it. Arsenal against Liverpool. I'm sure everyone here did watch the game. What did you guys think of the game, honestly? Let's start with you, Anthony, obviously, being the Liverpool fan.
Piss poor. Sorry about swearing.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, piss poor, mate. That first half was unacceptable. I was fuming with that. The way they played in that first half was a disgrace. They all shit the bed. It looked like an exact replica of last season when we played them away at the Emirates. We got a goal off a corner, fair enough. We weren't expecting us to do it. But then they dominated us for the whole half. Robbo on ice by Saka got absolutely bullied. Martinelli against Trent every single time. This guy cannot defend. He's a right back. He's not going to last 2 minutes at Madrid if he's going to play like that. He's really not. I know he was pivotal in the second goal. Yeah, I get that. But, mate, come on. Every single one-on-one, you're getting skinned. And I lost my rag. I really did. I wanted Robbo off at half-time. I'm finished with him. He's done. He's been done for 2 seasons at least. Robertson. That first half was a disgrace. A little bit better second half. Okay, fair enough. The subs made a difference. But it still wasn't good. Arsenal were there for the taking. Arsenal are shit. They're shit. they are. They were there for the taking. No Saliba in the team today, suspended. Gabriel goes off injured. Timber goes off injured. They're there for the taking. That defence is weak, and we didn't capitalise on it. It was piss poor today, and that was a game that we should have won. And I was disappointed. I'll take the draw, obviously, given the circumstances, how bad we played away, getting a draw at Arsenal. It's not the worst result, but they were there for the taking. They were weak today, and we didn't punish them for it. So, it's just one of them. I'll take it and I'll move on, but it's an opportunity missed. Definitely.
Okay. Nice. What did you think of the game, Prime?
I didn't expect Arsenal to start that quickly out of the blocks. They got the early goal. They did what I was expecting in terms of sit back and try and contain the lead. Liverpool got back into the game. A brilliant set piece. I think I think the draw is a fair result, to be fair. I don't know. I think when you're at home, you're expected to win the majority of your games. But considering the context of the injuries Arsenal had, I know Saka played, but I truly don't believe he was fully fit. Timber played. I don't believe he was fully fit as well. And the injuries on the pitch near the end, Gabriel coming off. Liverpool, I think they can be disappointed with that because once Gabriel came off, they could have went for the game. Whereas Slot tried to sit back and contain.
Yeah.
So this was probably the wrong thing to do. So yeah, point is fair, but from the Liverpool end, I think they can be quite disappointed with it. For Arsenal, there's context while they can be happy with the result. But for Liverpool, if you go away, your title rival, because I view Liverpool in this title race, your title rivals having injuries, you can go to their ground, get the win. That could be a massive boost because when Arsenal go to Anfield, I don't expect Arsenal to get anything at Anfield. I'll be real. I don't think they'll win at Anfield. So to be able to pick up 5 or 6 points even from your title rival can be major in this title race for Liverpool. But yeah, it's unfortunate. 2 points dropped massively.
Yeah.
Very quickly, King. What did you think of the game today between Arsenal and Liverpool? Did you watch the game?
Yeah. I watched the game after the United game, obviously. The first half. In the first half, Arsenal were pressing. Arsenal were decent, I think, in the first half. But then in the second half, Arteta decided, you know what? I'm 2-1 up. I'm going to park the bus at 2-1 instead of going for the actual game. Because, like Rob said, obviously Arsenal was there for the taking at time, but so were Liverpool. Liverpool at times were there for the taking as well. But obviously Arteta and obviously Slot did not want to go out. It was like both teams were just happy with a draw, really. But the thing is, I said this on Northside Channel just now. What I've been on, I just said this just now. This is the biggest. Arsenal's obviously biggest problem is the owners and Eddie and all of that, but their biggest problem is Arteta, because Arteta has now got these men playing defensive football, the same football that they were playing in the first two and 3 seasons when Arteta first came to Arsenal. And this is the thing, this is what I don't understand. How do you go from playing defensive football in your first 2 seasons or first 3 seasons, and then the season after you play attacking, scintillating football, and then the season after that you go back defensive? How does that work? Because Arsenal fans will say, Arsenal fans would have said, in the first season, Arteta needs his players. Arteta needs better players. He's got better players now, but he's still playing the same old shit football. He's still playing the defensive football. Like I said this, So when Pep Guardiola didn't win the league in his first season, did Pep Guardiola change the way that he wanted to play? No, he didn't. Did Jurgen Klopp change the way that he wanted to play when Liverpool were winning trophies? No, he didn't. you don't have to change you don't have to change your ways, bro. Like the thing is, yeah, we all know that this Arsenal team was, when they was attacking, they were really good. They was outscoring a lot of teams, and people would say they were conceding too much goals because of the high line and all of that. Yeah, but like you don't even have to do too much with the high line. Like all you have to do is tell your defenders in that to drop off by 2 or 3 or 4 yards. That's it. You know what I mean? All Arteta needed to do was just to tweak things, but he didn't do it.
But I think this is what Arteta is. I think like he is a defensive manager. He's been at Arsenal now for 5 seasons or 5 years, and he's only played quote unquote attacking football for 1 year. Like I think he is a defensive manager. I think people just need to accept that. I don't have a problem personally with how Arsenal play. Is it like quote unquote terrorism football? Is it fossil football? Yes.
Dark
But
arts.
I like the defensive football. I like dark arts. I'm a Chelsea fan. I've grown up on that. I like that style of football. But I just want Arsenal fans to be honest with what it is. Because when Chelsea were doing it and we were winning titles, we were winning Champions Leagues, we got criticized for destroying the beautiful game. But now Arsenal do it, and they haven't won anything with it. We have to give them praise and respect. I won't criticize because I'm not a hypocrite and I personally like the style of football. But for Arsenal fans who are getting criticism from rivals, accept it. It is what it is. I got the stick, but I didn't care what anyone said because at the end of the season, I had a league title to show. I had a Champions League to show. For you now, to justify this style, you need a trophy. Just like when Klopp came to Liverpool and they played that high line and they were getting countered on and they were playing high-scoring games. And I looked at Liverpool and I said, you have to justify this with a trophy. And they did. And it worked. Yeah. Just like when Klopp came and he wanted to play tiki-taka, you have to justify what you do with results at the end, achieve something.
But I'll say this. And I'll say this, Prime, right? I do agree with your point because I do believe that a lot of Arsenal fans do this thing where they're trying to distance themselves from playing defensive football because they were the ones who were once calling you guys out for that. But at the end of the day, we see it. And I'll say this, right? I haven't basically said my point on what I think of the game, and I'll tell you what I personally think of the game. This is what I think. When it comes down to it, I expected Liverpool to win because I did not expect Saka to start today. Right, there was no word that Saka was going to play today until we saw the lineup, and I said because of that, I don't know who's going to create the chances for Arsenal because we've watched the last 2 games without Saka and Odegaard, and they have not created nothing. But in the game against today, Saka in that first half, the first 30 minutes, he actually did well. Took his goal very, very well. Yeah, for the first 30 minutes, and then he basically fell off after that, and. For me, the biggest one I need to talk about is Gabriel Martinelli, and I'm glad Martinelli is finished. This guy, every time England. No, but this is the thing. Every single time this guy Arsenal were trying to hit the counter and it went to Martinelli's feet, this guy would just break down the attack, the counter every single time. I'm like, dude, run. Like literally, bro. Can you please go and take on your defender?
Like can I just say that's the when everyone keeps saying Arsenal need a striker, Havertz is a problem. As much as I don't rate Havertz, at least in that Arsenal team, he's functional. The biggest problem Arsenal have is Martinelli because for all the stick criticism people give to Saka, Saka cannot do it all on his own. Even we take Liverpool again as an example. Salah wasn't doing it all on his own. He had Mane. You need someone else. Give
this is what I'm saying,
Saka
though.
An equal partner to play with, and Saka won't have to. And that way, Arteta won't have to play Saka all the time. He can drop Saka for a few games, knowing he has another winger he can rely on. Like, give him something else, and that's on Arteta. Go buy someone out in the window. Go buy a quality left winger.
But he likes Martinelli, bro. He likes Martinelli. That's what he likes Martinelli, bro, because he does the dog work and that. I've been saying for time. This guy is just the Brazilian Marcus Rashford. This guy's never been good. This guy's never been good, bro. Like he's similar to Doku and all of these man and Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner. Like I've never never rated this guy. And the thing is, like Prime said, he won stuff at Chelsea, but Chelsea won stuff by playing defensive football. But Chelsea actually had a very good front line. Arsenal don't have killers, bro. The only killer in their team is Saka, bro. They don't have any killers in there. And if you're going to play, I think, that type of football, usually you need killers in that team, bro. And Arsenal simply don't have the killers in the team. And Arteta should have known that. Arteta should have looked at the profile of players that he got and say, is this defensive football working with the attackers? Because it's all good to say scoring goals from set pieces, but we all know that that's not going to last the whole season. We all know Arsenal ain't going to score every time from a set piece. We all know this. So yeah, man. Like obviously the biggest problem has been the board for Arsenal and their fans, because their fans have so much chess without winning any major trophies. They always gas up every signing. You know what I'm saying, bro?
No,
They gas up Timber. They get gas up Zinny, bro. Zinchenko, bro. Now they don't want Zinchenko. They gassed up Timber, bro. They gassed up Calafiori, bro. They gassed up Ramsdale, bro. And now they don't even want Ramsdale there. I was hearing from Arsenal fans when they first brought Ramsdale in, oh, he's the third best goalkeeper in the league. That's what I was hearing. But suddenly you wanted to get rid of Ramsdale because you got David Raya.
yeah,
Like,
it's absolutely insane.
this is what I'm
No,
saying,
it's
bro.
absolutely insane. And look, Havertz didn't play well today. I don't blame him as
No.
much as I blame somebody like Martinelli. I think at this point the verdict is clear. Martinelli is done. This guy needs to be benched. I don't know, man. The obsession that they have with this kid is ridiculous. But look, as far as the game is concerned, it's a good point for Liverpool. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, going away to Arsenal, one of the teams that are going to be in and around the title race, right? Going away at Arsenal and getting that point, it's not bad, right? But at the end of the day, now City are back on top. They're 5 points behind. That's crazy. Now, with all that talk from Arsenal, right now they're 5 points behind City. Now they're I think they're like a point. How
Yeah.
are they a point behind Tottenham? Something like that. It's crazy, right? All that talk for what?
Yeah.
What does that lead to? Nothing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And
Arsenal 1 point above
they got
Chelsea.
Newcastle away and Chelsea away in the next 2 games. They got Newcastle away and Chelsea away. And we all seen how Newcastle defend against City. We seen how Newcastle defend against City, bro. If Newcastle defend how they did at City, Arsenal ain't getting anything out of that game. And I don't think they've beaten Chelsea.
And that's away to Newcastle, right?
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I can see them potentially losing that game. Am I the only one? Because
Yeah.
it's crazy. But
Yeah.
But yeah, man, listen. At the end of the day, it was a great game for the neutral. I actually enjoyed the game. But I can see why a lot of Arsenal fans are calling this out, because at the end of the day, this is what a lot of them expected after all those injuries. But listen, man, we've been here 2 hours, man. It's time to let me just wrap up very, very quickly. It's been an amazing show. Big up everyone who's turned up here.
Prime as well, and big up Rep.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
big up to Prime, big up to Anthony, big up to King, big up to Mike's Jez, who
and Max as well, and Jez, big up Jez as well, big up Jez and Max as well.
Big up to all of you guys, man. This has been an amazing show, show to everyone. Big up to everybody who's here, man. Like, hopefully we get to 10 likes soon. Not a lot of people have turned up as much as usual, but listen, man, big up to every single person who has been here, who stayed until the end of the stream. It's been an amazing stream.
Hey, bro, it's the time that you're streaming at, bro. You're on when Lee Gunner's on, Saeed's on as well.
You know what?
Foul, Big Expanse, bro. They're taking your viewers.
Yeah, they are. They are. And when you're like a new YouTuber like me, those guys are like on another level. That's why sometimes I try to see, because sometimes some of them schedule and some of them don't. You feel me? So I like to see when those guys are scheduling, so I can maybe schedule maybe before they go on stream or after they have gone off stream. You feel me?
Yeah,
Right?
but you also
But I like
know when Arsenal play bad or United play back, there's going to be like a bunch of like United and Arsenal emergency streams going on. So that's
No,
also
I hear
as
that.
well.
I hear that. But listen, regardless, man, I'm still happy. We've had a few people in here, man. Big up to everyone who has stayed tuned here, man. But listen, we'll be back here next week again on episode 3 of True Ballers FC. Make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys turn notification and subscribe to guys like Aunt Rob. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Mike Sisan's channel. And if you guys want to see more of Prime, you guys will see him in his channel. He does have a channel, but he's usually on Flawless's stream. He's on Lewis's stream, Carefree Lewis. Sarcasm City or Carefree Lewis. And also Casual FC. I've been actually been watching you there as well.
We're going to do
are you on the football terrace as well? I swear I've seen you in the football terrace too. So
yeah, I don't go on that as much anymore. I used to be like a few years back.
Yeah.
But casually, we will be doing a review whenever Marshall's gone on holiday. So whenever he's back, we'll do a review.
It's been an amazing stream, man. And listen, you guys can catch him here every single time we do True Ballers FC because he's actually one of the panel as well. But make sure you guys before you leave, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And peace.
Big up to Omar. Thanks for letting me on.
Big up.
Yeah, man. Take care, panel.
Big up to you, Prime, man.